The Falmouth Commodores fell on opening day to the Harwich Mariners with a final score of 9-2. But today's Monday, and that means it's a new day and a start to a new work week as they got some work to do today against the division rivals from the West Division, the Cotuit Kettleers. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on today's edition of Opening the Door. Alongside Carter Bainbridge, today's play-by-play broadcaster, and Trey Redfield, today's color commentator, Logan Soforenko with you. I'll be on the field keeping you guys up to date all throughout the game. And Carter, let's jump right into things. Yesterday was not the prettiest game for the Falmouth Commodores, but plenty of baseball left.
Certainly not the opening day that the Commodores had in mind. A 7-run loss, and what made it worse were the 5 errors on defense that the Doors made. Very uncharacteristically poor play on the defensive side, and it was just a symptom of a lethargic day. The team seemed a little bit out of sync. They lacked that crispness that we expected out of them on opening day, but like you said, it's a new day. Time to throw it out and take down the Kettleers today if they play better.
New day also means new pitching matchup. We saw Antoine Jean yesterday for the Falmouth Commodores and Noah Dean for the Harwich Mariners. But let's talk a little bit about Harrison Cohen, today's Cotuit Kettleers starting pitcher. Trey.
Cohen comes out of George Washington, Logan, at 87.1 innings pitched against for the Colonials this past season with a 7-7 record. Also had an ERA just a little under 4, 3.92. If there's a positive to look into with the Commodores today, he hasn't had a 0 earned run performance since April 8th against A10 foe Dayton. So if you're the Commodores, you got to find a ways to tattoo the ball early on Cohen.
When one member of the Crimson Tide leaves, another one comes in the next day, Carter. Let's talk about the starting pitcher for the Commodores, Ben Hess.
For the second straight day, Commodore fans get to see a member of the Alabama Crimson Tide take the hill to start the game. They recognize yesterday's starter, Antoine Jean, who played here last summer, but they won't know about Ben Hess, who takes the hill today. He was a freshman this spring at Alabama, was a midweek starter for most of the season for the Crimson Tide, eventually spent some time in the bullpen. But in 8 starts, he was very effective, has a solid 4-pitch mix, and held opposing batters to a 192 average.
That 192 average is going to be something that everyone's going to be taking note of on the Cape, and especially the Falmouth Commodores today. But now let's switch over to the offensive side. And Trey, yesterday for the Falmouth Commodores, it wasn't pretty. Just one extra base hit the entire game. What do they got to do to fix it today against Cotuit?
Yeah, last time I checked, one extra base hit's not going to win you ball games. But what you got to do is put it all together, in the words of Eddie Alvarez. When I talked to the Long Beach State Dirtbag today, Logan, he was talking about how the hits were there. I mean, 2 runs and 7 hits is fine. The hits category is not the run category. But if you find ways, just keep getting guys on base, putting balls into gaps when guys are in scoring position, then you're going to be a successful ball club. The more guys you get into scoring position, the more opportunities you have to score some runs.
And especially when you have the runners in scoring position, like you said, Trey, those gaps are your best friend. You want to get it on the grass that is not in the infield. But now, Carter, let's talk about the Cotuit Kettleers offense. They had a powerful win yesterday at Veterans Field, 5-0. Who was that gentleman that hit that home run?
That would be Peyton Williams, the first baseman for Cotuit. Had a 2-run blast in a 5-0 victory. That was the big decisive blow. Be on the lookout for him today at the plate. But there's another hitter in that lineup who I think went a little bit under the radar for people who may not know about him. That's Cam Collier, who DH'd yesterday for the Kettleers. He was in the 9 spot. He collected only 1 hit, but this guy is 17 years old. He came over from Chipola College. He is a big-time MLB draft prospect, so it's anyone's guess as to how long he's going to stay on the Cape. But if you watch for him today, you could see some top talent stepping in for the Kets.
It seems whenever these scouts see the younger guys doing stuff that 20-year-olds and 21-year-olds can do, they got to look at this guy and say, hey, we can do something with him. But now, Trey, us 3 got a taste of the Falmouth faithful for the first time yesterday. Great attendance. The weather wasn't the prettiest, but as you can see, we got clear skies today. What's Falmouth going to be like tonight?
Yeah, the weather is like a 12 out of 10 right now at Guv Fuller Field, but tonight it should be even better knowing the weather is here. 1,072 fans came to the Guv last night for the season opener, just the second highest attendance behind Veterans Field at Chatham. And that's a positive, knowing the Commodores have back-to-back home games, but also the Kettleers have to go into not 1, but 2 hostile environments to start off the season, and they're doing it back-to-back. So it's a great opportunity today for the Commodores to get back into the win column.
Oh, we've been talking about it yesterday. We're going to talk about it throughout the entire season, how awesome these renovations are. But it's going to be the Falmouth Commodores playing host to the Cotuit Kettleers. You can find today's broadcast on the Falmouth Commodores YouTube channel. Trey Redfield will be our color guy. Carter Bainbridge will be our play-by-play man. I'll be on the field keeping you guys up to date on social media, and a couple of hits in there as well. This has been Opening the Door for today's Game 2 of the 2022 season.
Ladies and gentlemen, here are the starting lineups for tonight's game. First, for the Cotuit Kettleers, leading off, the right fielder from University of North Carolina, Wilmington, number 11, Brooks Baldwin. Batting second, the designated hitter from Duke University, number 18, Graham Pauley. Batting third, the first baseman from the University of Iowa, number 52, Peyton Williams. Batting cleanup, the left fielder from the Ohio State University, number 16, Cade Kern. Batting fifth, the center fielder from West Virginia University, number 17, Victor Scott. Batting sixth, the third baseman from Chippewa College, number 9, Cameron Collier. Batting seventh, the catcher from Kent State University, number 6, Justin McNiss. Batting eighth, the shortstop from the University of Kentucky, number 10, Ryan Ritter. Batting ninth, the second baseman from Georgia Tech, number 2, Chandler Simpson. And the starting pitcher from George Washington University, number 36, Harrison Cohen. And now the starting lineup for your own Falmouth Commodores. Leading off, the shortstop from Duke University, number 4, Alex Mooney. Batting second, the designated hitter from Cal St. Long Beach University, number 5, Eddie Saldivar. Batting third, the center fielder from Oklahoma City University, number 9, Cross Factor. Batting cleanup, the left fielder from Sam Houston State University, number 1, Anthony McKenzie. Batting fifth, the right fielder from the University of South Florida, number 16, Drew Brutcher. Batting sixth, the third baseman from Washington State University, number 12, Kyle Russell. Batting seventh, the catcher from North Carolina State University, number 28, Jacob Cozart. Batting eighth, the first baseman from Georgetown University, number 25, Angelo DeCunto. Batting ninth, the second baseman, number 3, Cody Colden. And the starting pitcher from the University of Alabama, number 27, Ben Hess. The bat boys tonight for the Commodores, Hunter Mayo and Brenner McClone. And the umpires at first base, Joseph Peters. At third base, E. Bullock. And behind the plate, Steve Kalenda. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome to Guv Fuller Field for tonight's game between the Cotuit Kettleers and your own Falmouth Commodores. Throwing out the first pitch tonight will be Bob Curtis. Bob and the Curtis family have been involved with the Falmouth Commodores since 2007, when they began hosting players for the team, which now totals 30. Bob currently serves at the head of the Commodore fundraising and led a 5-year effort to secure financing for the $1 million renovation of Guv Fuller Field completed this year. Bob serves on the board of directors of the team. Singing the national anthem tonight, Singing the national anthem tonight is Logan Broadway. Logan is from Sagamore and is finishing his sophomore year at Bourne High School. He has sung from the majority of his life, has spent the last few years doing community theater, and is an inspiring actor. You may recognize him from Drama's Fun Reason production of Shrek Jr., where he starred as Shrek, as well as Bourne High School's spring production of Roger and Hammerstein's Cinderella, where he played Prince Charming. Logan's dad, Stuart, is in the United States Coast Guard. Logan has been a military brat all his life and is grateful to have been able to call Cape Cod home for the past 12 years.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Bob Curtis.
It's a rivalry renewed today at Arnie Allen Diamond at Guv Fuller Field. The Falmouth Commodores and the Cotuit Kettleers set to lock horns tonight for the Doors' first Western Division clash of the year, with Falmouth in search of its first victory of the summer. Good evening, everybody. Carter Bainbridge along with Trey Redfield with you here at the Guv. Trey, it's a gorgeous night for baseball, and we're set to watch a matchup not just between two Western Division rivals, but between two teams that had very different opening days yesterday.
It was day and night. Cotuit took down Chatham 5-0 over at Veterans Field, and here at Guv Fuller Field, it was the Commodores that got rocked by the Harwich Mariners by a score of 9-2. But it's another opportunity tonight for the Commodores to grab their first win of the season against a big rival.
Certainly not the opening day that the Falmouth Commodores had in mind yesterday, losing to the Mariners 9-2. And the big problem yesterday was defense, Trey. 5 errors for the Doors. Uncharacteristically sloppy play that we haven't seen from them in recent years. But Coach Trundy said after the game, it's a product of guys not playing with each other. It's a team full of fresh faces. And we actually have some more on that with our sideline reporter today, Logan Soforenko. Logan, what do you have for us?
Thanks, Carter. The Falmouth Commodores were greeted by a Harwich Mariners team the other day that could hit the ball well, toss the ball well, but they also had the ability to capitalize on some crucial Falmouth Commodore defensive errors. So if the Doors want to win this one, they have to clean it up on the diamond because they're playing a Cotuit Kettleers team that are coming off, as some people could say, a complete victories. They went into Veterans Field yesterday and defeated the Chatham Anglers 5-0. Their pitching staff combined for 9 total strikeouts, and their first baseman, Peyton Williams, went yard en route to that 5-0 victory. But tonight, all eyes are going to be on Cam Collier, who is batting 6th tonight, playing third base, a projected top 10 draft pick in this coming MLB draft in July. Guys, back to you.
Logan, it certainly helps when you have top talent on your team. Cam Collier, Trey, a guy that we're going to have our eyes on tonight, along with a slew of MLB scouts who have made the trip out to the Guv tonight.
There are a bunch of scouts out here looking for mainly one guy, Cam Collier, 17 years old. He can't even buy a lottery ticket yet, but this is a guy who has plenty of power, can put balls into the gap, really quick glove as well, really quick on the feet too. You want to talk about a guy who has 5 tools, and he's 17 years old. Last time I checked, it's pretty darn good.
So scary stuff in that Cotuit lineup. The Falmouth pitching staff will deal with Collier in the number 6 hole tonight. And Ben Hess, the right-hander on the mound for the Doors on this evening. Right-hander out of the University of Alabama, where he pitched as a freshman this spring. Made 8 starts for the Crimson Tide, 11 appearances with a .554 ERA in 33 2/3 innings. And he's set to fire in the first pitch of this ball game with Brooks Baldwin, the Cotuit right fielder, leading off the game. Switch hitter batting left-handed against the righty Hess. And we're just about set to get the latest chapter of the Falmouth and Cotuit rivalry underway. Hess peering in, and his first pitch. Pumps in a strike, and we're underway. Graham Pauley on deck for Cotuit, followed by Peyton Williams, the first baseman, hitting third. Cade Kern, the left fielder, hits cleanup, followed by Victor Scott, the second, playing center and hitting fifth. Hess is 0-1. In for strike 2. 2 straight fastballs right down the pipe, and Baldwin quickly behind in the count. Batting sixth, Trey, as we said in the introduction, Cam Collier playing third tonight, and all eyes on him. Justin Mickness, the catcher, hitting seventh. Ryan Ritter at short, hitting eighth. And Chandler Simpson at second, hitting ninth for the Kets. Hess is 0-2. Chopper right back to the mound. Good alert play by Hess. His flip in time, and there's one away.
That's just a quick reaction right there. And props to Hess for going right at the leadoff guy. Baldwin has plenty of capabilities of getting the job done. He had a really good season this past year at UNCW. He's really quick. He was a leadoff guy there with the Seahawks all season. This is what he does. But the fact that Hess attacked him like he did just shows you how confident this pitcher is.
3 straight heaters. First 2 taken for strikes, and Baldwin grounded the third. And he did almost beat that out. He had to make Hess hurry with that speed going down the line. Graham Pauley takes ball 1 outside. The Cotuit DH. Lefty batter against the right-hander Hess, who has a solid pitch mix in his repertoire. We've already seen the fastball that ranges from about 90 to 93 miles an hour. And that fastball in for a strike, according to home plate umpire Joseph Peters, and the count even at 1-1. Along with that fastball, Hess has a hard slider. Some scouts have called it a cutter with how hard he throws it, along with a curveball in the upper 70s and a changeup that he uses rarely. 1-1 catches the outside corner, and Pauley down in the count at 1-2.
And there's that hard cutter, hard slider that Hess is going to. He's starting to work in his favor. If he can find ways to paint it on lefties, he can be really successful. And now with a 1-2 count, they have a chance to make Pauley chase here.
Bases empty, top of the first. 1 away. Fastball did just miss. The count 2-2. Pauley yesterday 0 for 3, still looking for his first hit of the summer. Hess peering in at his battery mate Jacob Cozart, and the 2-2. Liner up the middle and a base hit. First hit of the summer for Pauley, first hit of the day for the Kettleers. It's a clean single to center, and Cotuit has a man on with 1 down here in the top of the first inning.
It's a good rip there from Pauley. You know, that's what you want to do from your 1 and 2 hitters. If the one guy's not going to get it done, you got to hope that the guy in the 2 hole finds a way to get on base to create something going early. To make sure your pitcher has some sort of life or some sort of pad going into the bottom of the first. It's so important to get out on an early start. And now you have the 3-4-5 coming up for Cotuit.
Heart of the order coming up, starting with Peyton Williams, the first baseman who stands in now. Pauley bluffed a go, and Hess steps off.
Williams, a guy we identified in our pregame tray as one who could do some damage today. He hit a 2-run blast yesterday against Chatham, and he's an imposing guy in that box at 6'5", 225. Ball one outside from Hess with Pauly over at first base, who's not a threat to run, did steal 5 bases at Duke this spring. But with a big slugger at the plate, you figure they might not be inclined to run. Popped up left side and peeling over the dugout, it's out of play. 91 on the gun from Hess here in this top of the first. One on, one out. Pauly hasn't ventured from first yet. Hess gives him a look. And the 1-1 to him. Lifted foul again, high and over by the trees. McKenzie over there in left for Falmouth has no play. And the defense for the Commodores in this first inning, outfield left to right. Anthony McKenzie, cross Factor, and Drew Butcher. Infield around the horn, Kyle Russell, Alex Mooney, Cody Colden, and Angelo DeCunto. Behind the plate, Jacob Cozart. Hess throws over, but Pauly didn't take a very ambitious lead and is safely back. One and two on Williams with Pauly over at first. Hess is 1-2. Outside and a little high, 2-2.
Yeah, Pauly doesn't have much of a lead over there at first base, but right when Hess comes down, he's about to throw it. He starts to shuffle a little bit over to his right side, making things a little bit interesting. That's why Hess stepped off at the start of this at-bat.
The 2-2. Wrapped foul right side. And the Kettleers yesterday at least showed that they will run. They stole a fair number of bases on Anglers pitching. Brooks Baldwin, who was retired to lead off this inning, had a pair. Pauly had his first yesterday, so did a couple other players, along with Victor Scott and Cade Kern, who are in the lineup today. So the Kettleers, a running club at least through one game. Has another throw over, but Pauly retreats in time. Manager Mike Roberts for Cotuit. Do a couple things here with one down. Peyton Williams has made Hess work in this at bat with a couple foul balls. 2-2. Fouled straight back once again, and Williams getting his money's worth in this at bat.
It's exactly what you want out of your three-hitter. You're going to do whatever you can until you've put a ball into play.
Hess has challenged him with a couple fastballs, but foul ball straight back suggests that Williams is on it, at least pretty well. Let's see if Hess goes to one of his secondary offerings here, whether that be the slider, curve, or change. Instead, a throw over.
Yeah, last night was a long one. Got a little bit over 3 hours, 20 minutes, somewhere around there. If we keep having battles like these, we're going to be heading towards one of those once again, Carter.
Hess peers in his 2-2. In the dirt, Cozart grabs it, and the count goes full. Quite an at-bat from Williams, who just finished up his redshirt sophomore season at Iowa. He hit .335 against Big Ten competition, drew 35 walks, so he's got some patience at the plate. Hess at risk of walking his first. The 3-2 to him. Swing and a miss. Williams down on strikes. First strikeout victim of the day, courtesy of Ben Hess, and there's 2 down here in the top of the first.
That's confidence there from Hess. You know, you go through a battle like that, no matter who it is. I mean, with how many pitches there were in that at-bat, if you come out of it winning, That just tells you how much you can own these guys later down in the lineup.
Cade Kern, the left fielder and cleanup hitter, now stands in with a man at first and 2 down. Another throw over, but again, Pauly is back.
That one was much closer this time. Right when Hess turned over, Pauly actually shuffled to his right a little bit. That was the closest chance the Commodores had to pick off Pauly.
I caught him leaning just a little bit the wrong way, but Pauly stays alive over there at first. Ben Hess trying to deal with a 1-out base runner. 2 down here now. His offering to Kern. Runner goes. Pauly takes off. The throw skips into center field. Cozart and Colden could not connect on a tag play. Pauly did not try to take off for third, but now there's a runner in scoring position for the Kettleers here at the top of the first.
Last night we saw a lot of Harwich converting on opportunities with runners in scoring position. It's got to come down to Falmouth and its pitchers, especially with Hess here, to keep the game in your own hands and try and get a K here.
1-0 in for a strike, 91 on the gun from Hess. Second stolen base of the summer for Pauly. And Cade Kern with a base hit could drive in his first RBI of the summer. He was 0 for 1 yesterday, but did walk twice and steal 2 bases. Came around to score both times. And the 1-1. In for a strike, and Hess taking something off and getting it in for a called strike.
If I'm Hess here, I have a little bit of breathing room. I would go to the breaking ball here, maybe that curve ball or back to that hard slider where it's hard to hit on a righty hitter going inside.
1-2 pitch. He did go to the breaking ball, Trey, but Kern didn't fish for it. 2 balls and 2 strikes on the Cotuit cleanup hitter. Man at second, 2 down, top of the first. Pauly in scoring position and Kern trying to drive him in. The 2-2. Fouled straight back again. Another fastball from Hess, Trey. These hitters, at least in the early going, have been somewhat on it. We've seen some foul balls straight back. Haven't seen swings and misses on the heater so far, at least.
And that's just what Mike Roberts is trying to give to his guys. You know, keep fighting until the very end. You got 2 strikes on you. You're going to keep going until you're swinging and missing, or you just got to put something in play. You know, whatever's close, foul it off, live to see another day. That's what the Kettleers are doing right now.
Two. Swing and a miss. Kern sat down for the 3rd out of the top of the first. 1 hit and a man left for Cotuit, but we have no score as we head to the bottom of the first.
Hey there, Commodore fans. Thanks for joining us and cheering on your Falmouth Commodores. Want to take a break from the action? Come make a visit to the merchandise booth. Check us out behind home plate. We have a bunch of new designs for you to purchase, from hats to shirts, jerseys, crew necks, wine glasses, and even baby bibs. You think of it, we probably have it. From youth sizes to even adult double XLs. We have everything you need for family and friends. Be sure to come say hello and get a piece of Falmouth merch. Make a trip before we close up shop in the 9th inning. See you soon, and roll doors.
Welcome back to Guv Fuller Field, where the Falmouth Commodores and Cotuit Kettleers are just underway in this latest edition of a long-time Cape Cod Baseball League Western Division rivalry. This is the first of about a half-dozen times these teams will meet this season. Falmouth trying to get off a slide that started yesterday And Cotuit trying to capitalize on their opening day momentum after that victory at Chatham. And that continuing momentum today begins and ends with right-hander Harrison Cohen. Warming up on the mound right now. Just finished up a redshirt senior season at George Washington University. And Trey, things went a little bit badly for him down the stretch.
Yeah, that's right. Cohen, the last time he put up 0 earned runs in a start was on April 8th against Atlantic 10 foe Dayton. He had a 3.92 ERA, a strikeout to walk ratio, pretty impressive though, 93 to 28. Threw 87 innings with the Colonials, but you know, it's an opportunity for Cohen to get back into the swing of things, you know, start a new groove and new opportunity up here at Cape Cod instead of in our nation's capital.
Well, Cohen has the experience from George Washington. And he has the stuff with Alex Mooney standing in to lead off the Commodore half of the first. Mooney playing short today and leading off, moving up from the 2-hole where he hit yesterday. Cohen with a fastball in the mid-90s, a plus slider at about 85, and then a low 80s changeup. Mooney fouls off the fastball to even the count at 1-1. So Cohen just finished up his 5th season with GWU. 1-1 inside. Mooney had to step away to not get hit, and the count goes to 2-1.
Took a deep exhale after that, too, when he turned up towards us.
Cohen's 2-1. Swing and a miss. Came upstairs with something off speed, and Mooney swung at a pitch out of the strike zone to even the count at 2-2. Mooney yesterday 1 for 5, doubled late in the game and later came around to score. Now he calls time.
Said no on not 1, not 2, but 3 pitches there.
Cohen working it over with his battery mate Mickness. That breaking ball outside and the count goes full.
Great eye there from Mooney, knowing what he's capable of in a 2-strike approach.
Cohen peering in, now his 3-2. Ground ball up the middle, into center field for a base hit. And a good start for the Commodores here in the bottom of the first inning. Mooney on with a leadoff single.
That's a great at-bat right there. That just shows you who's a Power 5 player, what he's capable of. Alex Mooney is capable of that. Mooney brought it right up the middle and fought for it, too. You know, he saw that 2-2 pitch, a little bit outside, knew what he wanted, and he got it.
Fielded by Victor Scott in center field as we take a look at the Cotuit defense. Outfield left to right, Cade Kern, Victor Scott, and Brooks Baldwin. Infield around the horn, Cam Collier, Ryan Ritter, Chandler Simpson, and Peyton Williams. Justin Mickness, the catcher for Harrison Cohen, the righty on the mound. Mooney at first, leadoff single here in the bottom of the first, no one down, and Eddie Saldivar, the designated hitter, stands in. He swings at that offering and pops it up, foul ground left side. Collier giving way to Kern, who makes the catch for out number 1.
That play over there is always so tough on that left side or even a little bit deeper on the right side because there's no fence down there over at Guv Fuller Field. You got guys in lawn chairs hanging out on the hill. You got to figure out where exactly they are, but also more importantly, figure out where the ball is with the sun that's starting to set behind us here at the Guv.
And we saw some adventures over there in that area yesterday in the opening day game. A couple base hits that fell into no man's land and a couple plays over in foul ground. And you're right, Trey, there is no fence. So if the third baseman or left fielder gets over ambitious, they're going to knock into those people sitting out there in lawn chairs like they're a bunch of bowling pins. Couple throws over, but Mooney's been safe. So Cohen dealing with cross Factor now. Yet to deliver a pitch. Factor, the center fielder today, hitting third. Fouls that offering back. The count 0-1.
Think you could have caught that one? It was right in front of you.
We'll never know with this net, will we? They're supposed to get one that's a different color, which they've told us many times, but as of yet, it hasn't been replaced. But we did not bring our gloves, Trey. We don't get chances to make plays like that.
My glove's in the car. I can go get it if you need me to.
Want to try and hustle and pull that off?
I think I could. Signed by Mike Trout and Mookie Betts. I don't know if you want to use it or not.
We don't want a plot repeat of the Sandlot, do we? Factor still standing in the count 0-1. There goes Mooney for second base, and he's going to get there without a throw as the pitch got away from Mickness. And a wild pitch thrown by Cohen advances Mooney to second base.
So with Mooney running, they're going to actually call this one a stolen base. It could have gone either way. But either way, Mooney gets across over to second base, and he didn't get the best of jumps there. But, hey, you're going to take what you can get, and this is now an opportunity for the Commodores to have a runner in scoring position and bring him around.
The 1-1, low to Factor in the count 2-1. 81 from Cohen, who took something off, and we've seen that slider early on that is his primary breaking pitch, matched up with that mid-90s fastball. It's been described by some scouting services as a wipeout slider, which is high praise. Sits in the mid-80s and is a good compliment to the heater. But the pitch that got away from Mickness looked like he spiked one of those. 2-1, lined into center field. Scott tracing back towards the fence, now comes in. Mooney tags, headed for third. The throw back in, cut off by Ritter. And Mooney in there safely. So a man stands at third with two down. And a productive out for the Commodores, Trey. Factor flies out to center, deep enough for Mooney.
That was a great read out there in center field by Victor Scott, the West Virginia center fielder. You know, getting a good track on it. Getting it with the sun as well, making a couple steps back so he can run up on the ball and chuck it over to third. But it's just a little way too deep out there in center field, and Mooney got a good jump on it too. And now he's 90 feet away with Anthony McKenzie, the cleanup guy, stepping up to the plate.
McKenzie stepping in, and now the first pitch to him, a ground ball to short. Ritter in time, and the inning is over. The Commodores get a hit, and they do not score. They leave a man at third as we head to the top of the second.
What are you most looking forward to this season?
I'm just looking forward to, I mean, it's obvious, but just the games, you know, seeing some great baseball, some great talent, and working with all these interns and really just learning, you know.
I'm just excited to get to know everyone, do some fun social media stuff, make a lot of TikToks, and watch some baseball.
I'm looking forward to spending time with all of the other great interns, looking forward to watching good baseball, spending time around the field, and being in Falmouth again.
It was just such a great experience last year. I mean, there's nothing better. I mean, it's the best players in the country, and the opportunity to cover them is awesome.
We're back at Guv Fuller Field, where the Falmouth Commodores and Cotuit Kettleers just finished up a scoreless first. Both teams with a base hit, but neither one could capitalize with a run. As we take another look at the Falmouth defense, Trey, this was a unit that got banged up yesterday, at least after the fact. 5 errors, and they were spread around, too. There was one on the pitchers, one on the catcher, a couple in the outfield. They certainly spread the wealth not in a good way.
Yeah, it was all over the place. You know, throws down to third and second on stolen base opportunities from the Mariners. Bad hops in center field. There was a play in center. It was a line shot, bounced right over the head of the center fielder yesterday. And those are things that just can't happen, you know. And those are things, but at the same time, those are things that are going to happen when you bring in a new group in the eyes of head coach Jeff Trunny, talking to him yesterday and closing the doors. This stuff, you got to get used to it. You know, the quicker you get around it, the better off you're going to be, the more successful you're going to be in the best league in the country.
Victor Scott, the center fielder, hitting 5th, leads this inning off against right-hander Ben Hess, who winds, in his first pitch is in for a strike, 0-1. And Trey, you mentioned Coach Trundy, who commented after the game that his team has just got to get used to playing with all their different teammates and doing things that they're comfortable with. So all about finding a new comfort zone for guys who have never been to the Cape and never played with one another. The 0-1 taken for ball one, says home plate umpire Joseph Peters. Scott thought about it but didn't offer.
I like how Hess is flirting with that outside part of the zone, with that hard cutter that he's throwing. Whether it's a ball, whether it's a strike, whether he's missing it by an inch or getting it by an inch, Hess is attacking. And you got to give props to him for bearing down against a powerful Cotuit lineup.
1-1 up high, and it goes to 2-1. And if Hess can get that hard slider / cutter, question mark, I suppose, against left-handed hitters like Scott in the batter's box right now, you call that a backup slider on the outside part of the zone. That's a good pitch if you can get it working for you. And if the home plate umpire is giving that outside corner. Scott ready now for the 2-1. Lined softly, left side, foul.
And say there's a blooping ball like that, you run it over, run all the way over to the hill. Man, you got to put your hands up sometimes. Just say, hey, dead ball. Because all those fans over there, like we talked about a couple of minutes ago.
And it's a nice little souvenir for the bowling lane section.
You're making me miss bowling even more and more.
Hess ready with the 2-2. Swing and a miss. Got him waving on an inside slider. Tied up Scott something awful. And there's out number one here in the top of the second.
Where did that come from? That's 3 straight strikeouts from Hess. That was the nastiest pitch we've seen tonight.
I think nasty is the right word for sure.
I think nasty might be an understatement, too, that could be argued.
So Scott 0 for 3 yesterday, starts his day 0 for 1, and the third straight K in the books for Ben Hess, who got Baldwin to ground out to start the game, gave up a base hit, and has settled down since into a good rhythm. Cam Collier now in the batter's box, who takes ball one inside. And we talked about this guy plenty in the pregame show. The third baseman today for Cotuit hitting 6th. And there's a whole section of Major League Baseball scouts below us, Trey, who came to see one name and one name only.
More likely than not, that's for sure. A lot of teams, actually all the teams possibly in the top 5 looking for a guy like Collier.
1-0 upstairs and the count 2-0. So Cam Collier, left-handed batter from Austell, Georgia. Played his ball this spring at Chipola College, a junior college down in Marianna, Florida, and absolutely tore up the pitching down there. Hess with the 2-0. Outside and high, 3-0. And all of a sudden, Hess, who just struck out 3 in a row, missing the zone to Collier.
But this is a good opportunity here to just reset. It's really simple. Collier's the green light. Throw right down the pipe. Get back into this thing.
Well inside for ball 4. So Hess doesn't mess around with Collier. He walks him on 4 pitches. And Justin Mickness, the catcher, strolls up to the plate with a man at first and 1 down.
Now the question is Collier's speed. How do you handle that?
Collier stole 5 bases in 5 tries at Chipola College this spring. Mickness, the number 7 hitter in the lineup today, did not play yesterday, so this is his first action of the season. Collier over there at first, and again, Hess is going to have to work around a base runner, allowed with 1 out. Throw over and Collier back.
Collier is very jumpy over there at first base. That's a risk. It can work out in your favor. That's just how risks work. If you catch Collier jumping a little too much, you pick him off. But at the same time, he could use that jumping ability to bring some momentum to stealing second.
Collier again dancing around with a lead at first, and again Hess throws over. And Collier back with a dirtier jersey. So Hess peering in at Mickness, the catcher who played his ball this spring at Kent State. First pitch to him, Collier running, and the ball rocketed foul into the Cotuit dugout. Looks like it was nicely snagged by someone based on the smiles going on.
Or nicely avoided, either one. Did someone actually catch that?
I couldn't tell for sure. They're all up at the top step of the dugout, as are the Falmouth players.
And you don't see a single Commodore sitting on the bench over there. That's one of my favorite things.
Of course, this one of the marquee Cape Cod matchups. These two teams, longtime rivals. It seems like they've been playing each other since God made dirt. And that pitch down low to even the count at 1-1.
Thank the Lord, right?
And thank him for the beautiful weather today. Not a cloud in the sky after we had some big-time rain overnight and some storms, but it's held off the rest of the day. It's a beautiful day for a ball game this evening. Hess, another throw to first, and again, Collier back. That one was awfully close.
That one was the closest one. You got to give it to the Kettleers, though. You're aggressive like this, that's guts, man.
And you have to think Ben Hess has thrown over there probably between 5 and 10 times in 2 innings. Those are almost like pitches, and there he goes with another one. So he's not coming to the plate. He's making Mickness wait around. But it's not like Hess is lobbing it over to first base, and first base umpire Tyler Bullock is getting his work in early. Another throw and another slide for Collier. Runner at first, 1 down, top of the 2nd inning. No score between the Commodores and the Kettleers. Runner goes, line back to the mound, off of Hess, who collects, and the throw, in time. Bang, bang play over there at first base with Mickness on his way down. Collier took off on the pitch, and a line drive that would have been destined for center field careened off of Hess, who's now going to get checked out.
Hopefully he's all right. Hess took that somewhere around his arm, I believe. And checked out for now, but is trying to move around that wrist a little bit. I'm Hess. I'm taking as much time as I can. Any ripper right back to you, no matter how hard it is. Just baseball mindset's going to have some sort of sting. So, you know, you got to see. We'll see what Hess does here with a couple of warm-up pitches just to get back into the swing of things.
All right, we'll see how he feels. Didn't catch right away where it did hit him, but on the play, he collected himself enough to retire Mickness for the 2nd out of the inning. Collier was running on the pitch, so I guess those throws over weren't meaningless after all. Collier was going to be sent. So those scouts who came here to see him have seen a lot of Collier today. A 4-pitch walk and then a lot of slides back into first base. But at least he hasn't been sent back a victim of a pickoff throw.
That just tells you what he's capable of too, right? You know, Collier being that aggressive on the base pass, it tells you he wants to steal. He wants to be a guy that finds ways to help his team be successful, and one of them is doing it on the base pass. Not a lot of prospects can say that. You know, that not a lot of them can show off all 5 of their tools as Cam Collier does, and even at the age that he does. I mean, it's a luxury that Collier got to get a year of JUCO in just at the age of 17.
And for someone to be so disruptive on the base paths at such a young age, he's got the tools and he's got the presence that Falmouth now has to pay attention to. Ryan Ritter takes strike 1. The Cotuit shortstop with 2 down here in the top of the 2nd inning. Cam Collier reached first bay a walk, advanced via ground out, and stands in scoring position with 2 down. Hess trying to strand another after he did back in the first. That offering to Ritter down in the dirt, and it's 1-1.
Yeah, if I'm Hess here, you know, I'm not being as, you know, picky throwing over to first as I am throwing over to second. You know, you got 2 down, you have a 1-1 count, you're capable of getting strikeouts. Why not get another? Especially at the bottom of the lineup, too. This is the perfect opportunity for Hess to attack.
Ritter yesterday was 0 for 5, so if he gets his first hit here, in all likelihood will score a run. Hess looking back Collier carefully. And the 1-1. Breaking ball down and away at 75 miles an hour. So you see the speed differentials from Hess, who's clocked it up to 91 in this game so far. Chandler Simpson on deck, the number 9 hitter, another left-handed batter, so it would behoove Hess to get out of this inning right now. 2-1. Swing and a miss. Went upstairs with a fastball, and Ritter couldn't catch up. It's 2-2.
Going back to that hard slider from Hess. You know, can't strike him out. Why not jam him?
He got Scott to swing and strike out in this inning for the first out on what looked like a wiffle ball slider. Now the 2-2. In the dirt again. Collier takes off for third, and Cozart won't even bother with a throw. Collier moves up on the wild pitch and stands there with 2 down. So Hess now trying to get out of this inning without the base on balls coming back to haunt him. Payoff pitch. On the outside corner, strike 3 called, and Ritter will sit. Another strikeout victim for Hess. He's got 4. The Cats don't score in the top of the second, and we head to the bottom of the second in a 0-0 tie.
Hey Commodore fans, do you want to have your name placed into Falmouth Commodore history? Arnie Allen Diamond at Guv Fuller Field has a spot for you. For the first time since before the pandemic began, you have the ability to purchase a brick with your name on it and have it placed right on the walkway that leads to the merchandise booth located directly behind home plate. To find out more about how you can purchase a brick, visit falmouthcommodores.com/buyabrick program or scan the QR code that you see on your screen today.
We're back at Guv Fuller Field, on to the bottom of the second inning between the Commodores and the Cotuit Kettleers in the Doors' first Western Division matchup of the season. Trying to rebound from yesterday's opening day loss. 0-0 is your score. Each team has stranded base runners in every time they've come up to bat. Cotuit so far has left 2, 1 in each of the first 2 innings. Back in the first, the Doors left Alex Mooney over at third. And that's where things stand right now in a scoreless tie with Drew Brutcher coming up to the plate, the right fielder. He slices the first pitch foul left side. Brutcher hitting 5th today, followed by Kyle Russell, the third baseman, hitting 6th. Jacob Cozart, the catcher, hitting 7th. 1-0, lined into left center field. This may split the gap. Scott coming in, goes into a dive, and makes the catch for out number 1. Victor Scott with a highlight reel play to retire Drew Brutcher, and there's 1 away here in the bottom of the second.
Have ourselves a highway robbery here in Falmouth. Victor Scott got such a great jump on that ball. Right when that ball was sliced, Scott was immediately running to his right side, losing his hat to whenever he can to make that grab. And guess what? He did. Great effort there by the WVU center fielder.
Kyle Russell, the third baseman, takes up high for ball 1. So Drew Brutcher robbed of his first hit of the summer, what would have been an opposite field slicing double into the gap potentially. But Victor Scott, the rangy center fielder from West Virginia, said no, sir. Russell 0 for 2 yesterday. Ahead in the count now, 2-0. 2-0, fouled straight back. One away here, bottom of the second. Russell trying to get something going for the Commodores. The 2-1. Sound like he broke his bat. Ground ball to third. Collier hustles in, and look at him stay with it. Off balance throw to get Russell for the second impressive defensive play of this inning.
Yeah, there are definitely some pens being written to scouts' journals below us right now. That was just so routine. Collier calls it, picks it up, easy flip over to first. That was routine.
And now Jacob Cozart, the catcher, hits with nobody on and 2 down. And I guess that's the way things have been going for the Commodores, at least through one game and an inning and a half. First pitch to Cozart, fastball that doesn't clip the inside part of the plate, and the count 1-0. 92 on the radar gun from Harrison Cohen, the right-hander on the mound, whose velocity hasn't quite been mid-90s like we came in expecting. The 1-0 outside and high, but he's been up there close in the low 90s tonight. Jacob Cozart yesterday 0 for 3. (2-0) on the outside corner and called for a strike. So Cohen in this inning has fallen behind in the count, but he hasn't paid for it. He got behind a Russell 2-0 who fouled the 2-0 straight back, and then Cozart just took that one for a called strike. 2-0, grounded to second. Simpson had to double clutch, but the throw is in time, and the Commodores go quietly in the bottom of the second. 1-2-3 as we head to the top of the third in a scoreless tie.
Hottest take is that a straw has 2 holes, not 1. What is your favorite place in Falmouth?
My favorite place in Falmouth right now, I would say, is Shoreway Acres Inn. A bunch of us, the interns, are staying there, and we're having such a great time getting to know each other.
Can you give me your best British accent?
Scott Sterling.
Is cereal a soup?
No, it's cereal. It's its own thing, right? What soup have you had with milk in it?
Welcome back to Guv Fuller Field, where the Falmouth Commodores and Cotuit Kettleers are locked up in a scoreless tie as we head to the top of the third inning. Just a reminder, folks, as a proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League, the Mass State Lottery is celebrating the games we love playing, from the baseball diamond to the many lottery games that help support all 351 cities and towns across the Commonwealth. So here's to 50 years of winning and 50 more. Ben Hess, the right-hander on the mound, hoping to come away with a win today. Commodore offense has been quiet, but Hess has held the Cotuit Kettleer batting lineup in silence as well. Chandler Simpson, the number 9 hitter, leading this inning off. His first at bat of the day and making his Cotuit debut this summer. Did not appear yesterday against Chatham. So Simpson, the lefty batter from Georgia Tech, where he played 52 games this spring and hit very well. A .333 clip with the Yellow Jackets, trying to put that hit tool to use to start a third inning rally here for the Kets. Hess's first offering is upstairs for ball one at 90 miles an hour.
Yeah, knowing Hess is going on the outside with that hard slider, it's going to be interesting if Simpson adjusts. Look how choked up he is on the back, Carter, in the left-handed batter's box.
Infield in at third, the 1-0. Popped up into center field. Factor grasps it for out number one.
Didn't really have to after that. Got one inside.
And choked up on the bat. Simpson couldn't drive it, perhaps as powerfully as he could. Hit for decent power at Georgia Tech, but now here's the top of the Cotuit lineup. Brooks Baldwin, the right fielder, led off the game with a ground out his first time up in the first. Hess's first delivery. Outside corner for a strike, a well-located fastball. So far, Ben Hess has been stingy with the hits. He's only allowed one as of yet, and that was his MO with the Alabama Crimson Tide this spring as a freshman. 0-1 in the dirt. 1-1 now on Baldwin. And Hess, with the fastball and all the other pitches we've described, led Alabama in batting average against for any hurler with at least 20 innings. He held his opponents to a 192 average collectively. And it sounds impressive, but even more so when you consider that he pitched in the SEC. So he was around teams like Tennessee and Arkansas. 1-1. Up and away, 2-1.
Those are College World Series bound Tennessee and Arkansas teams. Actually, no, excuse me. College World Series bound Arkansas team, but upset Tennessee team.
Arkansas certainly on their way there, and the Commodores rooting on Arkansas for Jace Borofin's sake, a guy they're hoping to have back and looking forward to. Ground ball up the middle, base hit for Baldwin. Factor picks it up. Second hit of the ball game for the Kettleers, and it's a one-out single here in the top of the third.
Now batting the designated hitter from Duke University, number 18, Graham Hawley.
So again, both base hits in this game now allowed by Hess have been to center.
Now you have an opportunity to turn a double play ball here. Grounders like that where now the middle infielders can cheat towards the second base bag. They won't go up the middle to Factor as often.
Infield normal depth. First offering to Pauly is low for ball one. With Baldwin over there at first base, he is a base stealer. 16 for 19 at UNC Wilmington this spring. And yesterday stole 2 on the Chatham Anglers. So now more trouble on the base paths for Hess. And another thing to focus on as he deals with Graham Pauly. The 1-0 down low, and it's 2-0.
You have a green light like that at the plate with Pauly. It's more of an opportunity for Baldwin to get over to second base, trying to steal that second base bag. If I'm Hess, you got to find your way to get back into the zone here because Baldwin could go on any pitch here in the this one or next 2.
And there he goes on 2-0. Cozart's throw grabbed by Mooney. But Baldwin's safe with a stolen base.
Yeah, that throw looked a little offline from Cozart, but it was actually not that bad of a spot when you look at it. Mooney just couldn't get the tag on. You know, you can see it from here. It was a good call by Tyler Bullock, one of the field umpires that we have tonight. Mooney just couldn't get that tag on the right thigh of Brooks Baldwin. But now here we go to Kettleers. Green light on Pauly, guy on second base. An opportunity for Cotuit to grab the first run tonight.
Hess now with a 3-0 count on Pauly. Lays in a strike, and it's 3-1. But certainly dangerous territory all of a sudden here for the Falmouth right-hander. There is action in the Falmouth bullpen. It's number 2, Anthony DeFabia. The 3-1. Outside, and Pauly walks with 1 down here in the top of the third. And suddenly there's 2 on for Peyton Williams. the first baseman and number 3 hitter today, who hit that big home run for Cotuit yesterday.
And right into the Veterans Field night to put the first win in the books for the Kettleers. Team that beat Chatham 5-0 last night, all the way on the far side of the Cape.
And the third inning yesterday was where things started to go bad for the Commodores. They've gotten off to a decent start today on the mound and defensively, but it was the Mariners who started chipping away in the third, and Hess now hoping that history doesn't repeat itself a day later. First pitch to Williams had him out on his front foot, and it's 0-1. Baldwin at second, Pauly at first. Hess trying to work his way out of a jam here. Williams a strikeout victim his first time up. Swinging a foul straight back, and it's 0-2. So Peyton Williams, who lumbered into the batter's box. An emphasis on lumbered, Trey. This is a big guy.
Yeah. 6'5", 255.
And you have to imagine in that frame, there's plenty of power. He jacked 13 home runs at Iowa this spring, 17 doubles, slugged .622 for the Hawkeyes. The 0-2. Breaking ball, ripped foul right side.
Nice play by DeFabio over there at the bullpen. Seemed to take some first base infield. The joke that he always has, whether he's hitting in BP or playing first base or shagging the outfield, is always, it's like Lamar Jackson. Not bad for a running back, not bad for a pitcher.
DeFabio, a two-way player. He was listed last night as a guy who could possibly come off the bench, at least according to the lineup card. We didn't see him yesterday, but we're sure to see plenty of him this summer as one of the returners from last year. As for right now, Hess trying to work his way out of his own trouble with 2 on and 1 down. Breaking ball swerved out over the outside part of the plate, but didn't catch the zone, and it's 1-2.
And DeFabio didn't even pitch this year for Stetson. He was playing in the outfield.
The 1-2. Outside for ball 2, 2-2.
Gotta be careful here if you're Hess. You know, you used to attack the 3 guy with 2 straight strikes. You gotta find that again. Don't go away from Peyton Williams, because if he recognizes that, which he does, he's a smart hitter. He has 2 guys in scoring position. Don't want to have him to take you for a ride.
2-2. Line foul again, and Williams having a similar at bat to what he did in the first when he fouled off about a half dozen pitches. Eventually struck out, but he's made Hess work both times. Hess focusing in his 2-2. Breaking ball got him again. Another strikeout in the books for Hess, number 5 on the day. Williams goes down swinging for the second time, and a massive K in the books for Hess with Cade Kern coming up.
If I remember correctly, the last time we saw Williams go to the plate, he struck out on that same curveball. That's confidence there from Hess to throw a guy a breaking ball like that, you know, stayed a little bit more up in the zone, and Williams whiffed at it.
First pitch to Kern is a swing and a miss on a 90-mile-an-hour heater upstairs. It's 0-1. Baldwin at third, Pauly at second with 2 away. Hess trying to work around base runners for the 3rd time in as many innings and keep this a scoreless tie. And the 0-1. A little higher this time, and Kern wouldn't bite. It's 1-1. The Commodores trying to rebound today from their first opening day loss since 2017. They went down that year to Chatham. And Hess getting out of that jam would go a long way in trying to get a victory. Breaking ball down and away to Kern. Again, wouldn't chase a pitch out of the strike zone, Trey. Kern has shown some good discipline after 2 walks yesterday.
And that's smart. You know, you have 2 outs. You don't want to play stupid up there. You got 2 guys in scoring position as well. If the Kettleers don't come out with this with a run, you could say it's unsuccessful.
So Kern, who batted 6th yesterday, has moved up into the cleanup spot. The 2-1. Swing and a miss. Went after a heater about head high, and it's 2-2.
That's Hess saying, I'm going to give you something to hit. If you can't take it, I'm going to throw it at you possibly again. We'll see what happens here, but I wouldn't be surprised if Hess went back to the heater here and challenged Kern yet again. That's dog mentality if the righty does so right here.
He challenged him on 2-1 and got rewarded for it. Let's see what he goes to with a strike to go. 2-2. Breaking ball, low and away. Kern again laying off, and it's 3-2.
And even if Kern moving himself choked up a little bit higher on the bat, like how Chandler Simpson was, but in the left-handed batter's box, if I'm Hess, I'm going with the fastball here. You know, you don't want to load up the bases. Victor Scott and then Cam Collier coming up on deck after that. If I'm Hess, I'm attacking.
They'll try the 3-2 again. Popped up right side. DeCunto going out, giving way to Brutcher, who makes the catch for out number 3. So if Ben Hess gets out of another jam, he strands 2 in scoring position as we head to the bottom of the 3rd inning in a 0-0 tie.
Want a house of Falmouth Commodore? Be sure to sign up to become a host family today. Hosting a Cape League player can be very rewarding. Players connect and bond with the families, often forming lifelong relationships. Please remember that every Commodores player is bound and governed by NCAA rules and regulations. In order to maintain their collegiate athletic ability, host families receive a weekly allowance from the Falmouth Commodores to help cover player expenses. Host families are not required to provide transportation to players. The Falmouth Commodores are very grateful to the wonderful families that host our players each and every year. If you are interested in hosting a Falmouth Commodores player for the summer, contact our housing coordinator, Lisa Smuda, at lisatz143@comcast.net. For more information, visit our website at falmouthcommodores.com. Thank you for supporting our players, and roll doors.
Welcome back to Guv Fuller Field. Falmouth Commodores and Cotuit Kettleers staring each other down, trying to wait for the other to blink. It's 0-0 as we head to the bottom of the 3rd. Both pitchers have been effective tonight. Ben Hess worked his way out of his 2nd and 3rd one-out jam in the top of this frame, but now the Falmouth offense has to get something going. The doors have been sat down 6 in a row since Alex Mooney's leadoff single to begin the game. Right-hander Harrison Cohen staring in from the mound has been nails so far. First pitch to Angelo DeCunto is swung on and missed, and it's 0-1. Bottom part of Falmouth's order has yet to produce. The middle and bottom 3rd have struggled so far. Filthy breaking ball on 0-1, curves over for a strike, and DeCunto quickly down in the count 0-2. Cody Colden, right-handed batter on deck. 0-2. Low and away. Angelo lays off. It's 1-2. Sun setting here at Guv Fuller Field. 1-2. Low and away, and based on the face that DeCunto just made, he thought that pitch was pretty nasty, but couldn't convince himself to take a hack. So far, the Commodores haven't seen it very well off of Cohen. 2-2. On the outside corner, strike 3 called. DeCunto takes a seat, a strikeout victim, and Harrison Cohen in command so far.
It's a great pitch there from Cohen. Whenever you can freeze a guy to get your first strikeout, it's not a bad start. That gives you a lot of confidence. I know it's the bottom of the order, but you got a good hitter coming up in Cody Colden out of Washington State.
Colden, the number 9 hitter, 0 for 1 yesterday in a pinch hitting opportunity. Takes strike 1 in this at bat. So Colden making his first start of the summer, but a returner from last year with Falmouth, where he played plenty, 31 games for the Doors last year. 0-1 on the way. Way high, and it's 1-1. For the Commodores yesterday, their 1 through 3 hitters in the lineup did fairly well. 4 hits and 14 at-bats, a .286 average. But 4 through 9 was a problem. The 1-1 fouled straight back by Colden, and he's now down in the count 1-2. The cleanup through 9 spot yesterday against Harwich, 3 hits in 20 at-bats with 7 strikeouts, a 150 mark. And today, 4 through 9 so far, 0 for 5. Colden waiting on the 1-2 from Cohen, who brings it. Check swing outside corner. Did not go, says first base umpire Tyler Bullock. DeFabia still warming in the Falmouth bullpen for the 2nd straight inning. Colden waiting on the 2-2. Cohen's delivery. Just missed the same spot with the heater that he froze DeCunto on in the last at-bat.
That's where it stings. You know, as a fan, you see that and you get a little upset. But you know what? Maybe just a little bit too far to the right. Maybe it's where Colden's stance is in the box, but Joseph Peters didn't like it.
Payoff pitch is lifted to left center field. Tough play in no man's land, and it drops. Colden on base with a 1-out single here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Able to find a hole in left center, and Alex Mooney now comes up. And Scott out in center, unable to make that play.
He still got a good jump on it too. That's the thing. He knew what it was. He knew it was coming, but you just can't make a play like that. That's a Bermuda Triangle type hit there.
First pitch to Mooney, taken outside, and the count 1-0. Kern in left, Scott in center, and Ritter at short all had a chance at that ball, but none could get to it. And Colden rewarded with his first hit of the summer. He now stands over at first. Didn't steal many bags at Washington State this spring, and there he goes. The 1-0, the throw down from Mickness is in time. Cody Colden cut down, trying to swipe second. A strong and accurate throw from Justin Mickness behind the plate. And there's 2 down here in the bottom of the 3rd.
That was a great throw. Mickness with a great pop. Chucked it right over to second. It looks like Colden had it, but the line that Mickness put on it is the reason why Colden is now in the dugout.
Mooney late on that offering, fouling it off the other way. And now bases are empty with 2 down, and Mooney staring down the barrel of a 1-2 count. Cohen peering in, trying to finish off his 3rd scoreless inning of work. He deals. Soft grounder to second base. Simpson makes the throw, and the side is retired. Mooney grounds out to end things in the bottom of the 3rd, and it's 0-0 as we head to the 4th inning.
Hey Commodores fans, sharpen your baseball skills with some of America's finest players from the best college programs in the country. Clinic attendees will have opportunities to work on hitting, base running, infield and outfield play, as well as pitching and catching. Attendees will also participate in Commodores Chat, where coaches and players discuss topics like sportsmanship, academics, teamwork, and other issues important to being an all-around player. Clinics are offered Tuesday, June 21st through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. 3 separate clinics will be offered for ages 5 to 14.
Welcome back here to Guv Fuller Field. Still scoreless in the top of the 4th inning. It's been a pitcher's duel thus far. The Falmouth Commodores go to White House Field tomorrow to face the Harwich Mariners for their first road game of the regular season. And we talked about it yesterday, how there's going to be quite a bit of consistency with the Harwich and Falmouth lineups because, hey, they're playing each other 2 times in 3 days. The Cotuit Falmouth lineup, on the other hand, that's a different story. These 2 clubs will meet 5 times throughout the regular season, and that's simply because, hey, it's the West Division. That's how it is. So it's going to be really interesting to see how these rosters changes with players coming in, players going, and, hey, that's just the beauty of summer ball. Back to you guys.
That's a fact, Logan, and it is going to be interesting to see who Harwich brings out in that lineup tomorrow because we know they just got Danny Corona from Wake Forest. They may still be waiting on Brock Wilkin from the Demon Deacons, last year's Cape Cod League MVP. So we know the Mariners are waiting on some very, very talented hitters. The frightening thing is they took Falmouth to the cleaners yesterday without some of their better players.
Yeah, it's a couple of home runs that got the best of the Commodores. That's just what you're going to get out of those Mariner bats. 9 runs is what's expected. They were their best hitting team in the Cape League last year, expected to be the best hitting team in the Cape League this year. You know, we were reading a couple of season previews, and the Mariners were everyone was all over the Mariner bats.
And speaking of fresh faces and continuity, Anthony DeFabia on the mound for his first appearance of the season. Was a Commodore last summer, pitched in 9 games for the Doors last year, and just finished up his sophomore spring at Stetson University. Victor Scott, the center fielder and number 5 hitter for Cotuit, leads off this top of the 4th. He tries to bunt and pops it back of the plate, foul. So DeFabia, a left-hander, and closed the book on Ben Hess. The right-hander went 3 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. He looked very solid in his first outing of the summer.
He looked great. Most amount of innings he had was 4 1/3 at Bama, so that was kind of expected.
Second offering from DeFabia, down low, and it's 1-1. So DeFabia, who hails from Bronxville, New York, dealing with Victor Scott, regular outfielder at West Virginia. Breaking ball down low and away, and it's 2-1. Scott with the Mountaineers this spring had a breakout season at the plate. For his career, the previous 2 seasons, he was a .230 hitter. 2-1 fouled back, and the count even at 2-2, but Scott hit .278 this spring. 12 doubles, 47 driven in, and stole 38 bases. We saw that speed earlier on the great diving catch he made on Brutcher in the 2nd inning, and squared to bunt first pitch of this at bat, so something for DeFabia to keep in mind. 2-2. Line to deep center field. Factor going back, still going back towards the fence and makes the grab. Allowed out number 1 here in the top of the 4th inning off the bat of Scott, but cross Factor, some center fielder on center fielder crime, and there's 1 away.
Center fielders going to work tonight, aren't they, Carter? Factor making a great play, still battling the sun. Scott using his speed to make some grabs on the other side, but this time Factor showing off the speed and the great jump, playing center field out there.
Cam Collier takes strike 1 from DeFabia. For the first time, the lefty batter Collier is going to have to deal with a lefty thrower on the mound. Walked his first time up and created all kinds of havoc on the bases. Second offering low and in. 1-1 to him. Fastball gets the outer half, and it's 1-2.
Seen a couple of times where Commodore pitchers are up 2 strikes. Got to stay attacking here.
1-2. Down low and away, 2-2. DeFabia's tried a couple times in the first 2 hitters with that pitch down low and away, but neither Scott nor Collier has yet to bite. Nobody on, top of the 4th. 1 out, 2-2. Fouled back of the plate, and Collier stays alive. So Collier, who did some pitching at Chipola and was a regular hitter in 52 games, a .333 batter. Stepping in, the 2-2, grounded to second base. Colden picks it on a hop. The throw in time, and there's out number 2. So at least through 2 at-bats, Cam Collier held without much damage. And Justin McNiss, the catcher, digs in with 2 down, nobody on, top of the 4th in a scoreless tie. DeFabia up and in with the first pitch. Well, somebody's got to score and try and win this game eventually, right?
You can only hope, right?
The 1-0. Does not get the outside corner, and it's 2-0. And we have to remember, for anybody unfamiliar with the Cape Cod League, this year we're back to the regular rules. So that means if it's tied after 9 innings, it goes in the books as a tie. As McNiss fouls one away left side. Of course, we're a long way from that in the 4th inning. These teams have had some high-scoring affairs over the last couple years. So you figure someone's going to take a big swing here. Cotuit has stranded 4 so far. 2-1 is swung on and missed by McNiss, and it's 2-2. DeFabia dropping down to 80 miles an hour on the off speed to get McNiss out in front. Two-two. Bounces low, and it's 3-2. DeFabia staying focused. He looks like he's ready to go, waiting for McNiss to finish adjusting and get back in the box. Payoff pitch. Lined right to first, caught by DeCunto, and the inning is over. Again, the Kettleers go down 1-2-3. No runs, no hits, no one left as we head to the bottom of the 4th inning where Trey Redfield is going to take over the play-by-play duties when we come back.
Hey Commodore fans, do you want to have your name placed into Falmouth Commodore history? Arnie Allen Diamond at Guv Fuller Field has a spot for you. For the first time since before the pandemic began, you have the ability to purchase a brick with your name on it and have it placed right on the walkway that leads to the merchandise booth located directly behind home plate. To find out more about how you can purchase a brick, visit FalmouthCommodores.com/buy-a-brick program or scan the QR code that you see on your screen today.
Still nothing here at the Guv between the Kettleers and the Commodores as we head into the bottom of the 4th inning with Carter Bainbridge, Trey Redfield. Carter, 2-3-4 coming up for the Commodores, so that's a positive to look into despite the silent bat so far.
Yeah, the Commodores have really not gotten anything going offensively tonight, save for a hit in the 1st by Alex Mooney and another hit in the 3rd by Cody Colden. Other than that, they've gone down in order. trying to scratch out something here off of Harrison Cohen, who's on for inning number 4.
George Washington Colonial facing Eddie Saldivar for the second time tonight as the Long Beach State Dirtbag looks at ball 1.
And we described Cohen's repertoire at the beginning of this game with a mid-90s fastball. He hasn't touched that today. He's sitting around 90, but it's a live 90.
Now 2-0 as Cohen couldn't find the zone, going a little low. Saldivar is 0 for 1 tonight. Flying out to left field in foul territory in the first inning. He pops it 2-0, sky high over on the left side. And making the grab is Miknes. Had to reach over a little bit to his right side in fair territory. But either way, there's one gone.
And again, Cohen just really in control right now. He's in a good rhythm. Really only bothered by Colden's single back in the 3rd. Then he was caught stealing. Retired the doors in order in the 2nd. Got the first out of the 4th. And Falmouth struggling when they haven't been able to get that leadoff man aboard.
It's now Cross Factor that steps up. Starts ahead 1-0.
And there's that changeup from Cohen. Hasn't thrown it a ton tonight. But you can see it does have that movement going away from left-handed batters.
The 1-0 to the center fielder. Too low, ball 2. Factor comes out of Oklahoma City University. Resides in Yukon, Oklahoma. Man, that's a trip all the way from Oklahoma to Cape Cod.
I would suspect that he didn't drive.
I would hope so.
If I was a betting man, I think I'd be prepared to win some coin.
So he fouls the 2-0 back. Commodores looking to grab their first win of the season after falling 9-2 last night to the Harwich Mariners in a season opener. They'll play Harwich again tomorrow over in Harwich. It's now 3-1.
And the Commodore offense, at least, I mean, through the first game and so far what we've seen tonight, just not quite there yet. Scored 2 runs tonight, but the second one was way late in the game when it didn't matter, and it was on a wild pitch.
Full count now to Factor.
And that's been what's made Cohen so effective tonight. He doesn't just have the fastball working. He's throwing that breaking ball for strikes. And when you have 2 pitches working, I mean, the Commodores have just been kept guessing, and they keep on getting it wrong.
Cohen gets his sign and deals. Liner over to third base. Collier's there playing well back in the infield and rifles it over to first in time for the second out. Well, Carter, we've talked about it a lot. He can do it all. Seeing a little bit of the legs. Now we're seeing the glove and also the arm over there at third.
And one of the things that's easily recognizable in guys like Collier's category, who are draft prospects and talented ones at that, who are looked at to go highly, is just the ease with which it looks like they play the game. I mean, that was not an easy play by Collier by any means, but he made it look so.
The spin on the ball, a little bit of everything. It was a hard liner backside, too. It's now Anthony McKenzie's turn to step up for the second time tonight. Grounded out to short in the first. As he fouls the 1-0 back. We're even. Nothing your score here at the Guv on a beautiful night. Had to fight off some rain pregame yesterday. Not really such thing today. We got a morning thunderstorm. But other than that, it's been an amazing, beautiful day.
And the funny thing is, yesterday with the conditions we had when it was drizzling rain through pregame, we thought that was going to be the low-scoring game. Today, the conditions are perfect to have a driving range type of game, but 2 hits for each team, no runs for either side, and not a lot of hitters putting charges into balls so far.
The 1-2 to the Houston native. Down low, even at 2.
I mean, Cohen has allowed 1 base runner since the first batter of the game in Alex Mooney. He's retired 10 of the last 11.
Payoff pitch is a grounder over to second, fielded cleanly by Simpson, who flips it over to first in time for the third out. Here goes Harrison Cohen again, putting down the Commodores in order, 1, 2, 3. So we head into the top of the fifth. Still no score here at the Guv.
Hey there, Commodore fans. Thanks for joining us and cheering on your Falmouth Commodores. Want to take a break from the action? Come make a visit to the merchandise booth. Check us out behind home plate. We have a bunch of new designs for you to purchase, from hats to shirts, jerseys, crew necks, wine glasses, and even baby bibs. You think of it, we probably have it. From youth sizes to even adult double XLs. We have everything you need for family and friends. Be sure to come say hello and get a piece of Falmouth merch. Make a trip before we close up shop in the 9th inning. See you soon, and roll doors.
T-Mobile is a proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League. T-Mobile believes that when small towns thrive, America thrives. That's why they're investing billions to bring fast, reliable, and affordable wireless service beyond the big cities to small towns across America. There's never been a better time to join T-Mobile. Visit T-Mobile.com/acrossamerica to find out more. Top of the fifth here at the Guv. Still no score between the Kettleers and Commodores, as Anthony DeFabia's first pitch to Ryan Ritter is a foul ball over to the Falmouth bullpen.
Well, we saw a game yesterday, opening day, between Hyannis and Wareham that went a little over 2 hours. That was a pitching duel, 2 hours and 2 minutes officially between those two teams in a 2-1 game. This one not looking too different as of right now. These pitching staffs have been at work tonight.
The 0-2 to Ryan Ritter in the dirt, ball one. Shortstop went down looking to Ben Hess in the second to close out the top half as DeFabia deals. Another one fouled back. I'll tell you what, Carter, these Kettleer hitters will not go down without a fight.
They're pesky, and they do remind me of the hitters we saw last night for Harwich. Those at-bats for the Mariners were lengthy. They made the Commodore pitchers work, and they got their pitches and didn't miss them after a while, especially late in the game when things started getting out of hand.
1-2, another one fouled back. How about Kozar fielding it cleanly right off the bricks?
Yeah, he certainly had been busy today. Cotuit running game when they've got on base has been a factor, but Ben Hess, who started that game, was able to keep it in check with some quality pitches when he needed them.
Fabia fires. In the dirt again, ball two.
Ritter trying to get off the schneid. 0 for 6 this summer, 0 for 5 yesterday, and then went down his first time today.
Comes out of Kentucky. Looks at a 2-2 pitch outside. Props to the rising senior for working a full count. The payoff. In the dirt again. A great at-bat from Ryan Ritter as he draws ball forward.
Well, Ritter was here last summer and was a really good hitter for the Kettleers. And just about the last thing you want right now if you're Falmouth in a scoreless tie where you're very much still in it, trying to wash out the bad taste of yesterday's loss. Obviously, you want to grab the lead at home, but now you're putting yourself at risk of falling behind with a leadoff walk. Don't have the percentages in front of us, but, you know, when that happens, most of the time they come around to score.
Simpson putting down a bunt that goes foul. It's 0-1 to start off his second at-bat. Second baseman comes out of Georgia Tech and is an Atlanta native, transferred from University of Alabama, Birmingham in the Conference USA, making a move over to Power 5 ball in the ACC. Fabia deals the 0-1, making a couple looks over to Ritter. He fires it over to DeCunto. Nothing doing over there either way.
And just to back up that stat, this is just the second time in this game that either team has put its leadoff man aboard. Falmouth did it back in the first with Alex Mooney, later stranded him at third, but this is the first time the Kettleers have done it today.
Counts now even at 1 as DeFabia just misses it on the outside corner. Simpson flew out to center field in the third.
I think DeFabia is probably going to throw over at least one more time.
Fine strike 2 there.
And I say that because Ritter stole 15 bases at Kentucky this spring. So he is a runner. Didn't steal much last summer with Cotuit, but he certainly has the capability.
Find out what he does here. The 1-2 from DeFabia. In the dirt, count even. A lot of base stealers on this Kettleers team. This is what Mike Roberts does. Wrote 2 books about base stealing, produced videos about it at his own Lowell Park in Cotuit. 3-time champion with the Kettleers, has had a lot of success as Simpson goes backside and there's a base hit. And it gets away from the left fielder McKenzie. Coming around the score is Ritter. He dives in safely. The mistake from Anthony McKenzie in left field puts the Kettleers in front.
Well, all around, another bad defensive play for the Commodores. Their 6th error of the year. The first tonight comes at a bad time. It breaks the scoreless tie. This one on Anthony McKenzie, who designated hit yesterday. Wasn't in the field. Now he's in left. His first time playing the outfield this summer. Hasn't had a lot of action over there tonight and just let that ball get by him. It was an aggressive play for Ritter to score there. A good send over at third base. And Simpson ends up at second on the play.
So yeah, Simpson getting aboard with a single, but advancing to second via the E7. Now he's going for 3. The throw over to third is not in time. If you blink, you may miss him. Another stolen base for the Kettleers.
And if you're Jeff Trundy for the Commodores, this type of inning with this type of team just makes you grind your teeth. I mean, to begin with, Cotuit as a running club is tough enough to deal with, but now you've got the error thrown in here, and you've got a really tough situation to work out of if you're Anthony DeFabia.
Count 1-0 on Brooks Baldwin as we're back into the top of the order and shoots a foul ball right into the Commodore dugout. That was a screamer.
And even worse, there's nobody out in this inning, and the top of the Cotuit lineup is now in here, starting with Baldwin, who singled his last time up and stole a base, of course. Infield in, trying to protect against the run.
1-1 to the UNCW product is skied over to the right side. Britcher makes the grab. Here comes the throw to the plate. It's a little offline, and Kozar can't corral. Cotuit grabs itself another run thanks to a sacrifice fly from Brooks Baldwin.
And I understand why Brutcher had to catch that ball. You can't just let the first out of the inning drop in front of you, but with the infield in and the Commodores playing to save the run there no matter what, I guess showing us how they feel about how they're hitting right now, you almost wanted Brutcher to let that one drop and let DeFabia just deal with Baldwin. And it goes for naught.
Now it's Graham Pauley stepping in for the third time tonight as he looks at strike 1. He's got on base both times he's come to the plate. A single in the first and a walk in the third as he fouls this one off himself. Couple of Duke Blue Devils in the house tonight. Pauley, one of them. Alex Mooney, the other at shortstop for Falmouth. As DeFabia deals the 0-2. Breaking ball in the dirt. Anthony still looking for his first strikeout tonight as he fires the 1-2. And there it is. Down looking goes Pauley. There's 2 gone here in the 5th.
Now batting the first baseman,
And it's a strikeout that DeFabia really needed, not just for out number 2, but just to get a little bit of confidence back. He hasn't been getting a lot of swings and misses so far. Cotuit has looked like they've been on most of his offerings, specifically that breaking ball. And now base is clear for a pretty imposing guy in Williams.
Peyton Williams hit a home run, a 2-run shot last night against Chatham to propel Cotuit to a 5-0 win against Chatham at Veterans Field, excuse me. It's now 2-0 on the Iowa first baseman. Kettleers had more runs than hits last night. 5 runs and 4 hits against the A's. It's now 2-1 on the left-handed hitter.
And if this score or a score similar to it holds up, you're going to be pretty frustrated if you're the Commodores.
It's now 3-1. Big hitters count for Williams in the 3-hole.
And you'd be frustrated not just because it's a loss, but because you're getting Cotuit at a time when they're not hitting all that well. They didn't do it last night, haven't done so far here.
Williams thought it was ball 4, but Joseph Peters says, hey, hang around for a little bit longer. Count's now full on the junior from Johnston, Iowa. That's back-to-back strikeouts from DeFabia. Down looking goes Williams, but not before Cotuit grabs the first 2 runs tonight. The Commodores looking to respond when we come back. Bottom of the 5th coming up after this.
What's your favorite song?
My favorite song? Proud to be an American. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free.
And what's your favorite breakfast food?
Oh, my favorite on the West Coast. I don't know if it's a thing back east, but Spam.
Wheels or doors?
I think wheels, honestly, because you use wheels like more than I feel like you would use doors, because if you're moving things around, more than likely it's on a wheel.
Trey Redfield and Carter Bainbridge, along with Logan Soforenko on the sidelines. Back with you at Guv Fuller Field. The Commodores looking to respond after the Kettleers put up the first 2 runs of the ball game, leading 2-0 on the Doors. It's Drew Brutcher that will start things off here in the bottom of the 5th. Brutcher, Russell, and Cozart. 5, 6, and 7 due up for Falmouth. Brutcher comes out of the University of South Florida in the American Athletic Conference. The first pitch from Harrison Cohen is strike 1. I'll tell you what, Carter, Cohen has been doing a great job tonight with this Commodore offense, allowing only 2 hits.
He's been outstanding, and this is the longest we've seen any pitcher go so far this year. To the chagrin of Falmouth, that being said, I know they wish they could see Cohen exit this game. And this is an important inning for the Falmouth offense. I'll tell you why in a second.
It's now 1-2 on Brutcher.
I think the Commodores
didn't think Cohen had that, but he painted.
I think the Commodores have to get at least 1 in this inning with 5, 6, and 7 due up. Because, you know, Cotuit has some powerful relievers that they're going to throw after Cohen is done. This is an ideal spot for guys like Brutcher and Russell and Cozart to finally get their first hits of the season and start something, maybe get it around to the top of the order before you start seeing some pretty high-powered arms out of that pen.
Swing and a miss from Brutcher, the right fielder. There's 1 down here in the bottom of the 5th. That's Cohen's 2nd strikeout tonight. Kyle Russell stepping in for the second time, grounded out to third in the second. He hits one high into center field. Scott makes the catch with ease, moving a little bit over to his left side, and quickly there's two gone in the bottom of the fifth.
I'm just not crazy about swinging first pitch there. Certainly not when you're in a two-run game. You need base runners, and you're dealing with a pitcher that has just absolutely shoved tonight in Harrison Cohen. You got to work the count. You got to take some pitches. You got to work his arm as much as you can. Not quickly put your team in a nobody on with two down spot.
Cozart squaring the bunt on the first pitch, and he looks at strike one.
But interestingly enough, around the league, hasn't been a high-scoring night. The most any team has right now is 3, and that's Brewster in the 9th inning.
It's now 1-1 to the NC State catcher.
So the Whitecaps on the verge of blanking YD. Wareham up 1-0. Cotuit up 2-0 here. Hyannis, it's 2-0 over Orleans, and Harwich up 1-0.
2-1 now, the Cozart. We saw Harwich last night. We'll see Harwich again tomorrow night. Mariners took down the Commodores 9-2 in the season opener here at the Guv. We at White House Field tomorrow night. Right now, it's the Commodores trailing the Kettleers 2-0. A rivalry renewed into its 75th season. Cozart ready to go. So is Cohen. As he delivers the 2-1. It's now a big hitter's count for Cozart, 3-1.
Cohen's still throwing 91 miles an hour, but you figure somewhere here his control is going to start to waver, or the Commodores will have enough looks at him to start putting better swings on the baseball. Cozart one good take away here from perhaps setting up a rally for the bottom of the Doors order that has still been slumbering into today.
A swing and a miss, a big swing and a miss from Cozart, and the count is full. This would be big for the George Washington righty. Trying to keep a goose egg on the board for Falmouth. The payoff pitch. Grounder right up the middle. Making the grab is Ritter, who throws it over to first in time for the final out. So still nothing doing for this Falmouth offense. But an opportunity to hold that 2-0 score when we come back for the top of the 6th.
Want to house a Falmouth Commodore? Be sure to sign up to become a host family today. Hosting a Cape League player can be very rewarding. Players connect and bond with the families, often forming lifelong relationships. Please remember that every Commodores player is bound and governed by NCAA rules and regulations. In order to maintain their collegiate athletic ability, host families receive a weekly allowance from the Falmouth Commodores to help cover player expenses. Host families are not required to provide transportation to players. The Falmouth Commodores are very grateful to the wonderful families that host our players each and every year. If you are interested in hosting a Falmouth Commodores player for the summer, contact our housing coordinator, Lisa Smuda, at lisatz143@comcast.net. For more information, visit our website at falmouthcommodores.com. Thank you for supporting our players, and roll doors.
New pitcher on the mound for the Commodores, and it's Mikey Tepper out of Mississippi State, taking over for Anthony DeFabia. Righty has finished with a 9.49 ERA. Had 29 strikeouts on the year, 25 walks, and 24.2 innings pitched.
And this is a guy I've certainly been interested to see since we've started the season. Tepper, big right-hander from Fort Mill, South Carolina, plays his college ball at Mississippi State. So he's another SEC guy Falmouth has on their roster. And Tepper with some good stuff. Fastball mid-90s, topped out at 95 last summer with the Commodores. Gets some occasional cutting action in on left-handers with that heater. Curveball, the primary breaker, and then also throws a changeup. This past year for Mississippi State, the numbers not quite to Tepper's liking. 17 games, a 9.49 ERA. But he was very good in small sample size last season for the Doors. 3 appearances, 9 innings, did not allow a run. Struck out 5, gave up only 3 hits.
Reason why we didn't see so much of Tepper was because Mississippi State was gliding its way through the College World Series. The Bulldogs, defending national champions, taking on SEC foe Vanderbilt last season. And Tepper, we get into heart of the Cotuit order. 4, 5, 6 coming up for the Kettleers, and it starts with Cade Kern, the left fielder out of Ohio State.
Leading off for Cotuit, the left fielder.
The Archbold, Ohio native, is 0 for 2 tonight. Strikeout in the first and flew out to right field in the third. So we'll see what Tepper does here. Trying to keep it a 2-0 ball game.
Commodores have been solid enough to keep Kern off base. He's 0 for 2 today. The Anglers weren't so lucky yesterday, so this is a big hitter for Tepper to come in, engage his stuff, and try to avoid another mini rally with Cotuit's running game.
First pitch, a big swing and a miss for strike one, clocked in at 95 miles an hour.
And Tepper, a guy whose readings from last summer were available, but we couldn't get a good look at him at Mississippi State this year. Have to figure he's added some velo.
Another swing and a miss, this one at 94.
A couple vicious fastballs thrown by Kern, who's now fastening up those gloves. He's going to have to focus in and just sit dead red here, down 0-2.
Tepper deals. A shot out to center field. Moving over to his left is Factor, who makes the grab for the first out. So Kern goes down to 0 for 3 on the evening, and now stepping up to the plate is Victor Scott. Had a very loud out in the fourth. That brought Factor all the way back towards that wall.
Falmouth tonight has kept the middle of Cotuit's order pretty off balance. 3 through 7 haven't had much success. It's been 8, 9, 1, and 2 that have done the damage.
Another fastball tipped into the glove of Kozart, but it popped right back out. Either way, it's 0-1.
Cam Collier, the only hitter 3 through 7 to reach base tonight. He did it on a walk in the second. The runs have come from Ryan Ritter hitting 8th and Chandler Simpson in the 9-hole last inning.
The 0-1. Another fastball. Did he go? Yes, he did. 0-2.
And that from Tepper clocked in at 85. So that was actually the breaking ball, but you see why Scott just swung the way he did. It looks like a fastball out of the hand. You get a similar release point, and you make these hitters make up their minds too early, and you get swings like that.
Little low, ball 1.
96 from Tepper, his fastest of the day, in his second hitter of work. So this is certainly a live arm. Hardest thrower of the day as of yet for Falmouth.
The 1-2 to the West Virginia product. Fouled back. We'll do the 1-2 again.
And Scott was lucky to get a piece of that one. He's definitely out in front. You're having to sit dead red because Tepper's just been pumping strikes in. You've got a fastball with good life on it. You force these hitters to sit on it, and that expands your repertoire into your secondaries.
Another fastball over to the right side. Great play by DeCunto, and an even better play by the pitcher, Tepper, to get it over to first in time.
Really solid athletic play there from Angelo DeCunto from first, ranging to his right. Able to make a throw, a little bit off balance to Tepper, who got over in time to retire a guy, Victor Scott, who we've talked about today as a speedster. He's one of many in this Cotuit lineup, but certainly a guy they wanted to keep off with one down in this inning, but here's the man of the evening, per se, in Cam Collier.
Some would say the matchup to watch, too. It's the first pitch to Collier at 96 miles an hour is fouled back. This is why the 16 Major League Baseball scouts are here, right, partner?
Well, they want to see Collier face some premier pitching. I know there were some people out there who were surprised that Collier even showed up to the Cape this summer.
The 0-1. Breaking ball that finds the zone for strike 2.
And I say that not to paint the guy as someone who would renege on a commitment, but he's expected already before this season to go in the top 10 of the MLB draft. What does he have to gain?
Another breaking ball in the dirt. It gets away from Cozart. Collier is going to get a board. So despite the at-bat going down as a strikeout, Cam Collier will hang out on first base.
And it hasn't been a scintillating evening for all the scouts who came up to Falmouth to see Collier play in this game. He walked his first time up, grounded out, and now reaches first on a strikeout wild pitch. But again, he's on base, and you know they're going to have to pay attention to him. So time for Tepper to multitask here with Mickness at the plate.
Catcher 0 for 2 tonight. Comes out of Kent State. He gunned down Alex Mooney just a few innings ago. Here at the plate, he's ahead 1-0 for his third at-bat. Rising senior comes out of Dubois, Pennsylvania. As Tepper gets his sign and deals. Breaking ball that finds the zone, 1-1. Collier on first. Cotuit with an opportunity to extend its lead. As Collier goes, throw down to second, not in time. Man, what a throw by Jacob Cozart. That's how you bounce back after the pitch getting away from Cozart. He fires down the second, he gets Collier, and that's how the top of the 6th ends. And bring some momentum after this.
Do your best cartwheel.
I'm not a gymnast. I think I'd pull something if I did a cartwheel.
Would you rather be able to fly or be invisible?
I'm going to go with fly, honestly. I think flying would be pretty cool. Be able to be up in the air around everybody, fly with some birds. Be pretty cool stuff, Carson.
Okay, Anders, now do your best and favorite dance move.
And the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air.
Not a bad night for Harrison Cohen. Struck out a couple of guys. Kept Falmouth with a goose egg, only giving up 2 hits in his 5 innings of pitching. And coming in for Cohen is Jackson Kelly, the righty submariner from Mercer. Not a bad ERA, 1.35 and 60 innings pitched.
Kelly was outstanding this spring at Mercer in his junior season. 25 appearances and a 1.35 earned run average across 60 innings. Only gave up 32 hits and 9 runs the whole spring. Walked 18, struck out 82, and held opponents to a 158 batting average on his way to an all-first-team, all-Southern Conference selection.
Hanging out with our sideline guy, Logan Soforenko, tonight. And we are talking about Kelly, saying like, hey, they have a submariner over there. So we'll find out what Kelly does in game action. Starts with Angelo DeCunto. Went down looking in the third. He starts down 0-1.
And starts down with 70 miles an hour. So certainly a stark difference from Harrison Cohen, who was up in the low 90s.
The 0-1. Well outside. The count is even.
And Kelly was good enough over at Mercer that he was named a finalist for the National Collegiate Baseball Writers Association Stopper of the Year Award. They've been doing it since 2005, given to the top reliever in Division I.
Puts a little more velo on that one. It's 2-1.
And for the Commodores, a team that's already in a hitting funk, I can't imagine that they like seeing this too much. A guy with a very unusual arm angle.
There's a nasty pitch to make the count even again.
And that's probably about as hard as Kelly throws, 84 on the gun. But DeCunto hasn't pulled the trigger. He doesn't look too comfortable in this at bat. And you can't really blame him because this is a whole new look that Kelly is giving this team right now.
2-2 to count on the Georgetown Hoya. Goes with the off speed and swings and misses for strike 3. One gone here in the bottom of the 6th as Cody Colden steps up to the plate for the second time.
And it's just ho-hum, same old for Jackson Kelly. He did this all spring at Mercer. One of the better relievers in all of Division I. And like we said, the last inning for the Commodores was a big one, with 5, 6, and 7 coming up because we knew an arm like this was coming out of the bullpen.
As Colden applied the bunt, pulled it back, and instead looked at strike 1.
At least early on, this Cotuit pitching staff looks like one that's going to be a force throughout the summer. They shut out the Anglers yesterday and are a few innings away from possibly doing the same to Falmouth tonight.
1-1 to Colden now. I mean, we saw it last night. Caden Morris had 4 1/3 innings pitched. Dig up a run. Isaiah Coupe was the one that earned a win, coming in after Morris with 2 innings pitched. Ethan Chenault held it down, gave up no hits, and then William Privet out of College of Charleston is the one who got it done in the 9th. There's a nasty slider, 72 miles an hour to make it 1-2 on Colden.
I just shook my head when that one came in and was called a strike. I don't blame Colden at all. You can't really pull the trigger on that when it looks like Kelly is throwing blitz balls into the zone.
The 1-2. Goes with a higher angle this time. But the count's even at 2.
Yeah, and there's no rule saying that if you come in throwing underhand, you have to keep doing it. He came away with a quick release on Colden, hoping to catch him off guard, but Falmouth second baseman wouldn't bite.
The 2-2. Swing and a miss for strike 3. Back-to-back strikeouts for the Mercer Bear, and there's 2 gone in the 6th.
Alex Mooney, one of only 2 Commodores tonight with a base hit. It was to lead off the game. If you remember that at this point, it feels like it was a whole nother time zone ago when he did that. Since then, the Commodores have just been stifled. 1 hit. Harrison Cohen finished his game 5 innings, 2 hits, only struck out 2.
Didn't give a single walk.
It felt like he struck out more batters than that, but you look down at the stat sheet and the Doors just kept putting the ball in play and just couldn't find holes and get good contact on it.
Mooney swings and misses at a sweeping slider to make it strike 1.
And with this velocity down at these readings and that arm angle, I mean, it can work. You see guys like Tyler Rogers out there in San Francisco who drops down like this.
That ball's skied in the air and out of play.
He was as big a reason as any last year when the Giants put together a great season. So guys who throw like this from the low arm slots below, 3 o'clock on the clock face, they aren't just gimmicks, right? And they can give you some solid work, as Kelly did this spring and is doing so far.
Looking for his 3rd strikeout, but Mooney lives to see another day. Conto went down swinging. Colden went down swinging. Now back at the top of the order with the Duke shortstop. The 1-2. Going with the overhand breaking ball that just misses the zone. It's 2-2. It's like how in Wii Sports, you know, you can change from submarine and then move it to the overhand and then go back to the submarine.
And I think Kelly held the B button there to throw a screwball or something like that. Didn't get the call for strike 3, but I think he should have. I think home plate umpire Joseph Peters just might have missed that pitch. I think it caught everybody off guard because it broke so sharply at the end of its life. It froze Mooney, and just perhaps not a good enough frame job by Mickness to get that call.
The 2-2. Sweeping slider. Did he go? No, he did not. The count is full.
Well, good at bat already by Mooney to work this count full. He certainly hasn't looked comfortable. You can't blame him, but if he can lay off one here, he might be able to start a little something here for the Commodores because the tying run would come to the plate.
The payoff pitch. Fouled back by Mooney. Props to the right-handed hitter for staying alive. He's just fighting off every pitch that's coming close to the zone.
Mooney finished 1 for 5 yesterday, but he was robbed of what would have been probably a double back in the first inning of that game. He's been taking some pretty good swings. 1 for 2 today, grounded out his last time up. But if you're the Commodores, at least I do, Trey. I don't know about you, but with Mooney up, you kind of feel like he's one of those guys who is a good candidate to break this team out of its slump.
Breaking ball down, looking goes Mooney. He can't believe it. 3 up, 3 down, and 3 Ks for Jackson Kelly. So we go into the top of the 7th, but before we send it to break, let's toss it to Logan Soforenko on the first base side. Logan.
Thanks so much, Trey. We are down here at the field. The Falmouth Commodores trailing the Cotuit Kettleers 2-0, but hey, plenty of baseball left. We talked about in the open how important it was for the Falmouth Commodores to get a on the mound, and Ben Hess did just that. 3 innings, 2 walks, 0 runs, 2 hits allowed, and 5 punchies. A very good start in his Falmouth Commodore debut for the 2022 season. But the Cotuit Kettleers have countered with just that. Harrison Cohen went 5 strong innings, 2 hits, no runs, no walks, 2 strikeouts. But the Cotuit Kettleers have yet to give up a run in 2022. Granted, still, we're not even 2 games into the season yet, but that just shows what kind of pitching we're going to see, not just tonight, but perhaps the rest of the season. Meanwhile, for the Falmouth Commodores, they have yet to get their and boy, what a sky there is right behind me, boys. Back up to you.
Hottest take is that a straw has 2 holes, not 1.
What is your favorite place in Falmouth?
My favorite place in Falmouth right now, I would say, is Shoreway Acres Inn. A bunch of us, the interns, are staying there, and like we're having such a great time getting to know each other.
Can you give me your best British accent?
Scott Sterling.
Is cereal a soup?
No, it's cereal. It's its own thing, right? What soup have you had with milk in it?
Welcome back to Guv Fuller Field, where the Commodores are locked up with the Cotuit Kettleers and trailing right now. The Kets lead it 2-0 as the Doors try to fight their way back in this game. Mikey Tepper on for his 2nd inning of work in relief. And the Commodores have held the Cotuit offense mostly in check today. But hitting-wise, the Doors have just about zip at the plate. 0s on the scoreboard. As Tepper fires in the first pitch, it's low for ball 1.
Reason why I make this is back up at the plate was because Collier got caught stealing in the top of the 6th.
1-0 on the way. Just missed, and the count is 2-0, 93 for Tepper on the fastball. 7, 8, and 9 for Cotuit coming up in this inning, starting with Mickness at the plate, who's 0 for 2. And now the 2-0. Fastball roped to left field. McKenzie heading back to the wall, and it is gone. Justin Mickness sends a home run over the left field wall, and it's 3-0 Cotuit here in the top of the 7th inning.
So for Cotuit's case, it was best case scenario that Cotuit brought Justin Mickness back up to the plate, and Collier got caught stealing. Mickness going with the Oppo Taco here, got a great piece of it. Left it hanging over the plate with Tepper, and now the Kettleers have a 3-0 lead with just 3 hits, too.
Tepper's first offering to Ritter is in for a strike, and it's 0-1. And Trey, you said it. It was a fastball left, got too much of the plate left over it, and Mickness did not miss it. Tepper's 0-1. Breaking ball outside, and the count even at 1-1. Ritter has last time up walked and then scored on the error on McKenzie. Got all the way around from first to score, the first run for Cotuit. Breaking ball drills him right in the back, and Ritter heads on to first.
Did not sound good. Breaking ball that just got away from Tepper, and a hard breaking ball, too. You could hear the exclaim from Ritter. Just that doesn't sound the most fun, does it? It's a good thing we're up here, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Unless you wanted to, well, you said earlier you might want to go get your glove. You might be rethinking that now.
Well, I took one to the ankle yesterday.
That's right. It's the perils of sideline duty as Falmouth meets on the mound to talk things over with Tepper, who looked solid in his first inning of work, got the first 2 outs, struck out Collier, let him reach on a wild pitch, who was then gunned down trying to steal second. But in this inning, a leadoff home run and then a hit batter. So Ryan Ritter, 0 for 6 in at-bats this season, but he's been on base twice today. And Tepper left to work his way out of this inning with Falmouth now down 3-0. And the last time we heard from Logan, he commented on the sunset and how beautiful it is. And we've got a great view up here, but as that sun sets, so too may the Commodores' chances be setting here, with Cotuit's lead now increased and only so many more outs to play with. Fastball up high, looked like a pitch out, anticipating Ritter, who did not go. And the count 1-0 on Chandler Simpson. The second baseman, 1 for 2 today, singled back in the 5th. Later scored the second run of this game. Tepper's 1-0. Fastball gets the outer half, and it's 1-1. Russell over at third, playing a shade in. His feet rest on the infield grass. 1-1. Ground ball to short, double play ball for Colden. To Mooney, on to first for 2. Simpson grounds into the 4-6-3, and suddenly 2 outs here in the top of the 7th, and the top of the Cotuit order coming back around.
That was a smooth play right there, and these Falmouth infielders are starting to get used to that lip on the grass. Colden had his glove down and then read the lip immediately. Brought that glove right back up, got the backhand over to Mooney at short, and a great throw by Alex over to first. It's Angelo DeCunto to get the 4-6-3. That was textbook right there from the doors.
First pitch to Brooks Baldwin is a swing and a miss as it goes all the way to the backstop. So Mikey Tepper, who did allow the home run in this inning and did hit Ritter, has mixed in some pretty nasty stuff here, Trey. He's been getting some swings and misses on his offerings, both the fastball and the off speed. Now he winds in the 0-1. Tapped foul right side. So the Commodores certainly not out of this game yet. It's only because they're going so poorly on offense that it feels like this game is out of hand, but it's only a 3-run game. And we saw firsthand yesterday how quickly the Mariners were able to put up 3 runs in that one inning. Top of the 4th it was on a couple home runs. The 0-2. Foul ball, same spot again over towards the Falmouth dugout. Falmouth today really scuffling at the plate. Only 2 hits to their credit. They have yet to draw a walk. and have had no men on base by any other means. Cotuit has also not made an error today. 0-2 breaking ball, too far outside, and it's 1-2.
And the last time we saw a hit came in the third inning. Cody Colden got on base with a single, but just a couple of pitches after that, he got caught stealing.
And I guess we're getting a first-hand view of what the Chatham Anglers saw yesterday in Cotuit. They've played pretty much the same game today. 1-2 pitch softly grounded back to Tepper, who flips to first in time for out number 3. We head to the bottom of the 7th inning, 2, 3, and 4 for Falmouth coming up. And we'll be back in just a moment in a 3-0 contest.
Hey there, Commodore fans. Thanks for joining us and cheering on your Falmouth Commodores. Want to take a break from the action? Come make a visit to the merchandise booth. Check us out behind home plate. We have a bunch of new designs for you to purchase, from hats to shirts, jerseys, crew necks, wine glasses, and even baby bibs. You think of it, we probably have it. From youth sizes to even adult double XLs. We have everything you need for family and friends. Be sure to come say hello and get a piece of Falmouth merch. Make a trip before we close up shop in the 9th inning. See you soon, and roll doors.
Welcome back to Guv Fuller Field. It's getting late here for the Commodores, who trail 3-0 against the Cotuit Kettleers in this first Western Division matchup of the season. Eddie Saldivar, 0 for 2 today, the number 2 hitter in the Falmouth lineup, now steps in. He squares to bunt, then pulls it back, but it's a strike called nonetheless. Collier a shade in over at third, not even on the grass, but looking alert possibly for the bunt. Overhand delivery from Kelly, check swing from Al Saldivar, and he did go. It's 0-2.
First time we've seen a hitter on both sides not check their swing.
The 0-2, another overhand delivery, and this one way high, 89 from Kelly.
Where did that come from?
So a little bit harder than his deliveries we've seen from his typical delivery. Saldivar now standing with a 1-2 count, and Kelly, who struck out the side in the 6th. 2 swinging, 1 looking. The 1-2, another overhand, and it's down and into Saldivar, 2-2. So interesting choice here, Trey. Kelly, who certainly made his name known this spring at Mercer with that underhand motion, and then where we see it again, the 2-2 fouled away by Saldivar. He's been doing a little bit of toying with that overhand motion. A little bit more so now in the bottom of the 7th.
Yeah, that was a ripper by Saldivar, though. We can talk about all we want about Kelly. Just glad Ellie Padelli's okay over there, our videographer on the third base side.
Now the 2-2 up high again at 75 miles an hour. But Saldivar did not go after it, and it's 3-2. Big hitter here for Kelly. Don't want to walk Saldivar. Overhand delivery, strike 3 called, and Saldivar knew it. First out in the bottom of the 7th, 4th straight strikeout for Kelly, and there's one away with Cross Factor coming up to the plate.
He legit does everything. And go back to the Wii Sports joke. He's pressing 1 and pressing 2 to change his arm motions. Kelly's getting it done. You said it. 4 straight Ks. Find out if he does 5 here, but the Commodores need a hit.
Cross Factor pops up the first pitch he sees. Foul ground. Does Mickness have a play? Yes. First pitch swinging. Factor pops out, and very quickly 2 away in the bottom of the 7th.
If you're McKenzie here, you're a cleanup guy, you got to do whatever you can to get on base. Find something. Something. Talked about it in the top half of the 7th, Carter, but the last time the Commodores got a hit was from Cody Colden in the bottom of the 3rd. And before that, Alex Mooney with a leadoff single, but nothing else.
Anthony McKenzie, who made an error in left in the 5th that allowed a run to score and eventually a second, and then watched a home run over his head in the 7th, takes a strike, 0-1. So a frustrating evening so far, at least, for McKenzie. 0 for 2 at the plate, and had to watch Mickness's dinger over the left field fence in the top of this inning. Now batting with the bases empty and 2 down with Cotuit up 3-0. Kelly peering in, but just about everything Mickness has put down for him has worked so far. Falmouth has yet to send up a hitter to the plate who's looked really comfortable. 0-1, floats inside, and it's 1-1. Infield normal depth for Cotuit. Falmouth looking for its 3rd hit of the day. 1-1, bends over the outside corner. Nasty stuff from Kelly, and it's 1-2.
You're right with that adjective, that verb, whatever it is. Bends.
That is an adjective.
It's an adjective, yep.
We both took the same grammar class, by the way.
Yeah. How'd you do in that class?
Got a B+.
You got a B+? I got an A, so that's kind of embarrassing. On my end, at least. I don't know.
1-2 down low. Well, I wasn't one of the cowards who pass-failed it. I'll give you that.
I wasn't that either. You're trying to say I was?
No, sir.
Okay, good. Good. Just making sure.
Kelly ready with the 2-2. Down in the dirt, 3-2. So McKenzie has worked back here against Kelly, who has run some full counts. He did it to Saldivar in this inning before throwing a beauty of a called 3rd strike. And the velocity readings all over the board for Kelly, and I think that's part of the problem. He's had good command, but when you're throwing low 70s to mid 80s, it's just below hitting speed. Breaking ball on the outside corner again. That slider moved like a frisbee and caught McKenzie looking totally frozen at the plate. 1-2-3, the Commodores go again as we head to the top of the 8th in a 3-0 game.
Hey Commodore fans, do you want to have your name placed into Falmouth Commodore history? Arnie Allen Diamond at Guv Fuller Field has a spot for you. For the first time since before the pandemic began, you have the ability to purchase a brick with your name on it and have it placed right on the walkway that leads to the merchandise booth located directly behind home plate. To find out more about how you can purchase a brick, visit falmouthcommodores.com/buyabrick program or scan the QR code that you see on your screen today.
We welcome you back to Guv Fuller Field, where the Commodores have some work to do if they want to pull off a comeback against the rival Cotuit Kettleers. The Doors trail at 3-0 right now as we head to the top of the 8th inning as the sun sets here at Guv Fuller Field. And setting as a new pitcher takes his warm-up tosses, Ike Buxton. Right-hander for the Doors, hailing from Ketchum, Idaho, and does his collegiate pitching at Lipscomb University in Nashville. 15 games this spring for the Mustangs, a 3.86 ERA in 74 2/3. All but one of his appearances were starts, so not necessarily a familiar spot for Buxton to come out of the bullpen. But if his stuff is to be trusted, this January he did an assessment at Ward Performance at Gallatin, Tennessee, and showed 5 offerings, a fastball in the high 90s, fastball with a little bit of sinking action, topped out at 96, and then a changeup, a curveball, and a slider. So it's anyone's guess what Buxton is going to bring to the table here in the top of the 8th, but whatever he does, it's going to have to be enough to hold off the Kettleers for at least one more half inning. The Doors are down to their final 6 outs to try to mount a comeback, but they have been stymied tonight by a Ket's pitching staff that has been dominant for 2 straight games. Graham Pauley, the DH and number 2 hitter tonight, leads things off here. First pitch roped into the gap in right center field, and Factor's not going to get it. Now he tracks it down in the right center field hole with on a hop as he throws it back in, and Mooney has to play it on a bounce. It's a leadoff double for Graham Pauley here in the top of the 8th inning. And not the start that Buxton was looking for. First pitch swinging and drilled into the gap.
You leave it over the middle like that, you're going to get burnt. May take may take a couple pitches, may take a few more. For Buxton, it took 1. And now you have the heart of the order coming up. Williams can take this thing for a ride.
And they check over at first base to make sure Pauley tagged the bag, and he did. So now a Kettleer runner at second, and Peyton Williams, a strikeout victim all 3 times today, hasn't connected with a ball like he did yesterday for that 2-run home run, but he has a chance to drive in the 4th Cotuit run of the day with a hit here. First pitch from Buxton on the outside corner at 91, and the count 0-1.
A lot of movement there. Is Gallatin a Nashville suburb?
Gallatin? No.
I know you're in a Nashville.
But I knew where, I'm aware of where it is.
You're aware of where it is.
The 0-1 dribbled up the middle. Mooney had to wait, now makes a strong throw to first, and it's in time. And that ball took a tricky hop off the mound. Back of the rubber. Mooney had to back up to play it, but the ground out for the first out of the inning. Pauley makes his way to third, and now a runner at third with 1 down for Cade Kern. Also 0 for 3 today, as the middle of the Cotuit order has not been great today. Falmouth has pitched well around some of their best hitters. And Buxton wants a redo with the signs with Cozart. Infield all the way in for Falmouth. First pitch, Kern showing bunt, and it's low and away. Cozart corrals it. Mooney and DeCunto were streaking in towards the plate to try to defend against a possible bunt. And now they retreat with a count 1-0.
And with a suicide squeeze like that, everybody's coming in. You saw the middle infielders going farther in than the corner infielders. The main focus is just keeping it a 3-0 ball game and trying to get an out over at first base.
Buxton's 1-0. Fastball shoulder high, and Kern couldn't catch up. It's 1-1. Not the first time he's been thrown that pitch today. So Kern has been chasing the heat, at least tonight. The 1-1, he squares to bunt again, and it goes foul back of the plate. So now the option's a little more limited for Cotuit and Cade Kern. Have to swing with 2 strikes. A fly ball would do it.
Now the cleanup man can do what the cleanup man is there for, actually hit the ball away. Shocked they even let him bunt here. I mean, he's in the 4 spot for a reason, Carter.
Cade Kern still looking for his first hit of the season, and he takes called third strike. Buxton came in with a breaker at 83 miles an hour and froze him. His first strikeout of the night. Kern sits for the 4th time in as many at-bats. A big out for Falmouth, and now Victor Scott rolls up to the plate.
Scott, one of the guys that's been struggling for the Kettleers tonight. He's 0 for 3, went down swinging in the 2nd, flew out in the 4th, and grounded back to Mikey Tepper in the 6th.
Buxton's first offering tails outside, and it's 1-0. 92 on the gun. Scott today 0 for 3. Strikeout, fly out, and then was robbed on the nice play by DeCunto over at first base back in the 6th.
Nice transitions there from our production team. Sean Oldred talking about it behind us.
We're a full-service operation out here at Guv Fuller Field. And trying to find the right angles. The right angles for Buxton to find his way out of this inning. 1-2. 1-0 rather, and it skips away from Cozart to the backstop, but Pauly has to go back to third.
Is it just me, or did it sound like it hit Victor Scott? He got something.
Maybe the tip of the glove of Cozart. Maybe
one of those two.
But thrown so hard on the bounce back that Pauly had no chance to come home. But in any event, Cozart's out there on the mound to make sure that doesn't happen again.
Yeah, with that backstop, no padding on the wall, just brick. You gotta be quick. Ball gets by. I mean, it's fortunate for the Falmouth side, knowing it's on defense right now. But if Cozart doesn't react quickly, that's going all the way back towards shallow parts of the infield.
And the Falmouth infield is going to have to be quick too. Maybe on a ground ball by Scott. He has good speed, not necessarily a given play. The 2-0 doesn't catch the outside corner, and it's 3-0.
And then there's a thought of, do you walk this guy so you got a force at second and first? But if I'm Buxton, I'm still attacking Scott, trying to get back into this count because Camp Collier's coming up.
3-0. Misses the outside corner, and it's a 4-pitch walk to Victor Scott. And Cam Collier comes up to the plate. Collier today, 0 for 2, walked back in the second. It has been a comparatively quiet day for this 17-year-old sensation, but could drive in a big 4th run for the Kettleers with a hit with a man at third and 2 down here in the top of the 8th. First pitch to him, misses the outside corner, and it's 1-0.
Yeah, Buxton's just got to lock in on Collier. If Scott goes, he goes. So be it. But you have to get out here if you're Buxton. You know, you're down 3-0 right now. You got to get your offense going on the other side.
1-0. In for a strike on the inside corner, and it's 1-1. And it doesn't really matter anyways. Buxton has to make a quality pitch because if Collier hits an extra base hit here, it probably scores Scott from first anyway.
Knowing his speed, yeah, that'll easily make it a 5-0 ball game.
1-1 on Collier. Buxton deals. Check swing in the dirt. Cozart lets it get away behind him, and Scott scampers to second base. So some pitches in these at-bats in this inning from Ike Buxton, getting away from Cozart. And Scott advances to second base on the wild pitch. Pauly at third, Scott at second now. Commodores don't look like they want to walk Collier. No indication. And now the 2-1. Up and away, 3-1.
To your point, Carter, you don't want to walk Collier because the next guy up is Justin Mickness. And if you look back at the top of the 7th, he's the one that hit a solo shot to left field.
3-1, well inside for ball 4. Collier with an emphatic toss of the bat back towards the Cotuit dugout, and he takes to first. His second walk of the day, and the bases are loaded for Justin Mickness. So before he gets his chance to take some hacks, the Commodores conference on the mound in what has to be potentially the most consequential at bat of this game.
Yeah, this is make or break right here for the Commodores.
If Mickness drives in more runs, only gets that much harder for Falmouth to come back in this game. It's still a one-swing game. You're not quite a bloop and a blast, but you're a bloop and something else and then a blast from tying this up. It's only because the Commodores are in such a funk that it feels so much more out of reach. But the Doors still have 2 outs to play with. And they're 5, 6, and 7 hitters coming up in the bottom of the 8th. Mickness 1 for 3 with the solo home run his last time up. Lefty batter against the righty Buxton. First pitch is outside, and the count 1-0. There's plenty of people here, Trey, but they are awfully hushed. 1-0. High again. Buxton struggling with the command, and it's 2-0. Hitters count for Mickness with no place to put him.
Yeah, and you're only hearing cheers from the left side where Cotuit is.
The 2-0. In for a strike. Delayed call from home plate umpire Joseph Peters, but an important strike for Ike Buxton.
You'll take what you can get. Bases juice against one of the fastest teams in the league. Got to do what you got to do to get strike 3 here.
Buxton leering in. Now his 2-1. Swing and a miss by Mickness. Couldn't catch up to 92. And it's 2-2 on the Cotuit catcher with the bags chock full of Kettleers. Pauly at third, Scott at second, Collier at first in a 3-0 game. 2 outs here in the top of the 8th. And Ike Buxton, the Falmouth right-hander, trying to get out of this mess and keep the Doors in the game.
Buxton's just got to stay on attack mode here. Don't go with anything too picky. Do whatever you can to find that zone. Keep calling time, because over at third base, Graham Pauly keeps flirting with stealing home.
He takes more steps toward home. They want to balk on Buxton, and now they get it. So Pauly, who never had any real hope of stealing home, accomplishes what he wanted to, and that's to throw Buxton off enough to force a balk. All the runners advance, and it's 4-0.
And that can easily be avoided. All you got to do is just move to the stretch. If you move to the stretch, then you get the strike. That's all that matters.
2-2 fouled off the Cotuit dugout screen. An unfortunate outcome for Buxton. Scott now goes to third, Collier to second. So Buxton, who was on the rubber and then stepped off when Pauly was advancing toward home, nabbed for a balk, and is 2-2 well inside to make the count full. Cotuit 4 runs on only 4 hits today, but Falmouth no runs on 2 hits and a costly error back in the 5th. Buxton's payoff offering. Popped up into left field. McKenzie got a late break, but he's got it for out number 3. The Kettleers get another as we head to the bottom of the 8th inning with the Doors in a 4-0 hole.
To House of Falmouth Commodore, be sure to sign up to become a host family today. Hosting a Cape League player can be very rewarding. Players connect and bond with the families, often forming lifelong relationships. Please remember that every Commodores player is bound and governed by NCAA rules and regulations. In order to maintain their collegiate athletic ability, host families receive a weekly allowance from the Falmouth Commodores to help cover player expenses. Host families are not required to provide transportation to players. The Falmouth Commodores are very grateful to the wonderful families that host our players each and every year. If you are interested in hosting a Falmouth Commodores player for the summer, contact our housing coordinator, Lisa Smuda, at lisatz143@comcast.net. For more information, visit our website at falmouthcommodores.com. Thank you for supporting our players, and roll Doors.
Well, welcome back to Guv Fuller Field, where the Falmouth Commodores have some serious work to do if they want to pull off a comeback victory over the rival Cotuit Kettleers. The Doors trail at 4-0 right now, and the task even taller with Jackson Kelly back on the mound for inning number 3. He has retired the Doors in order 6 in a row since coming in the 6th inning, and has struck out 5. The only batter to put the ball in play, Cross Factor, who popped out in the 7th. So Cotuit putting in one of their better relievers and letting him ride this out, Trey. You figure you might see someone else in the 9th, but if Falmouth can't start squaring up the ball off of this funky right-hander, this game is going to be over shortly.
Yeah, I mean, if Kelly stays hot, what's the point of bringing someone else in? If he's commanding, why not keep the guy in?
First pitch chopper to Collier, and the throw in time. Drew Brutcher retired, first pitch swinging just as Factor did back in the 7th. 7th straight man retired by Kelly, and now Kyle Russell coming up to the plate.
This is a part in the order that needs to get it going. I mean, you talked about it earlier, Carter. 3 for 20 last night. 4 through 9's got to pick it up here.
Foul ball rocketed into the screen above the Falmouth dugout, 0-1. Well, 2 through 7 in the Falmouth order. 0 for 16 tonight. Russell trying to break that unfortunate streak, the 0-1. Grounded softly to short. Ritter, strong throw, gets Russell for out number 2. And so far, no hard contact of any kind for the Doors against Kelly.
And even against Cohen, only 2 singles. We talked about how there was only 1 extra base hit with Logan Soforenko in opening the door. None tonight.
Jacob Cozart digging in and watches a slider bend over the outside corner. And Kelly hitting his spots very well, but I think helped by some good framing from his catcher, Mickness.
We've seen a lot of it tonight. Not on strike 3 calls, but stuff like this. Mickness is doing a great job behind the plate to help out his pitchers.
0-1, line down the right field line. Fair ball. Cozart headed for second as Baldwin digs it out. Now he turns back and goes to first, and it's a long single for Cozart here in the bottom of the 8th inning.
That's what they're looking for. All you need is 1. And the fact that it was the bottom part of the order getting it going, that puts a lot of smiles in the dugout. Now it's up to the Cunto to keep things going. Put one backside right center field into the gap. You're bringing Cozart all the way to third, and maybe the Cunto the second. And it sets up Cody Colden, who's got himself a base hit today.
Angelo DeCunto digging in. Runner at first, 2 down. Watches a ball down low, and it's 1-0. DeCunto a strikeout victim both times he's been up today, and was the first victim to face Kelly in this game. So the first Commodore to explore those uncharted waters and didn't fare well. And now the 1-0. In for a strike. At 83, and it's 1-1.
And normally you'll see pitchers that throw that low, like you said, at that 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock, lower than that hand. They're going to get around 84 to 85. It's very rare for pitchers like that to go high 80, low 90s.
1-1 on the outside corner. Tough strike called on DeCunto, and it's 1-2. Cozart over at first, did steal quite a few bases at NC State this spring, 28 of them. Surprisingly high number for a catcher. 1-2, softly on the ground to short. Picked by Ritter, and finishes the inning off as the Doors go down again. 1 hit and 1 man left as we head to the top of the 9th inning. The Kettleers lead it 4-0.
Hey Commodores fans, sharpen your baseball skills with some of America's finest players from the best college programs in the country. Clinic attendees will have opportunities to work on hitting, base running, infield and outfield play, as well as pitching and catching. Attendees will also participate in Commodores Chat, where coaches and players discuss topics like sportsmanship, academics, teamwork, and other issues important to being an all-around player. Clinics are offered Tuesday, June 21st through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. 3 separate clinics will be offered for ages 5 to 14.
Now, do your best cartwheel.
We're in the twilight stages of tonight's game at Guv Fuller Field with the Commodores trailing the Kettleers 4-0. The doors just went down in the bottom of the 8th inning after a 2-out single, but nothing doing offensively today. 3 hits and no runs for the Commodores against 2 dominant Cotuit pitchers. Harrison Cohen started the game, went 5 innings, 2 hits, no runs, and Jackson Kelly, the submarining right-hander, has come into the game and pitched 3 nearly perfect innings, allowing only 1 base runner, a single in the 8th, but other than that, it's been all quiet on the Commodore front. Ike Buxton, right-hander for the Doors, on for his 2nd inning of work. Ran into trouble in the top of the 8th after a leadoff double and 2 walks. Later balked in a run to make it 4-0. Ryan Ritter, the shortstop, getting things started here in the top of the 9th. 0 for 1 today with a walk, and he was hit his last time up. Buxton delivers to him and skips it off the dirt low. 91 on the fastball, and it's 1-0. Strike pumped in there by Buxton, and it's 1-1. Buxton winds the 1-1. In for a strike, and again, Ritter unhappy with home plate umpire Joseph Peters. He's given him a look both times in this at-bat that a strike was called.
Now he doesn't have a choice but to swing away.
Not a lot of complaints about the strike zone tonight, not by the pitchers or the hitters. Buxton's 1-2. On the outside corner, strike 3 called. Ritter unhappy again, but he'll sit for the first out of the top of the 9th. And Buxton exploring what has been a little bit of a larger outside corner tonight. We've seen Jackson Kelly exploit that on the other side, and there's 1 away here in the top of the 9th.
Joseph Peters are letting pitchers paint tonight. It's not just those guys. I mean, Ben Hess was exploring it a lot with his hard slider that was going on the outer half to left-handed hitters. Harrison Cohen was showing a little bit of it as well. Peters allowing these guys to use a paintbrush tonight.
Simpson tries to bunt, but it rolls foul left side. The second baseman in the 9-hole with his 3rd at bat of the day, 1 for 3. Stole a base back in the 5th and later scored on a sac fly, but grounded into a double play in the 7th.
It's great execution there from Simpson, and not a bad idea. This is one of the reasons why he's choked up on the bat so much, so he can square down a bunt quicker and get that set up just a little bit foul on that left side.
The 0-1, a breaking ball, misses high, and it's 1-1. So we saw yesterday Harwich, a team expected to hit bombs this season with power in their lineup. Not even fully loaded yet, and now we see Cotuit, a team that hasn't necessarily dominated offensively, 1-1, sliced foul left side, but one that has shown a little bit more of a small ball tendency. They've run the bases. They've had some steals. They've had guys try to squeeze bunts and lay them down, trying to drag them for base hits. It's an open question as to what the offensive style of the Commodores is, because it's not like we haven't seen very much of it, to be honest. 1-2. Simpson wouldn't offer at that pitch low, and it's 2-2.
One thing is, if you're fast, you're probably playing for the Cotuit Kettleers. Mike Roberts loves base stealing. You got James Bradfield coming in from Vanderbilt here shortly.
Enrique Bradfield, the name just on the tip of my tongue. A guy who was the ultimate weapon on the bases this year, as this one's lined to left by Simpson for a base hit. He's heading for second as the ball bobbled by McKenzie, and Simpson puts the brakes on at second as the throw comes back in. And let's see if that's a double or a single and another error on McKenzie. Looks like they're officially going to call it a double.
Yeah, the question, I would say the next question was if it was, you know, McKenzie bobbling that grounder in left field, was Simpson going to go for three? He was definitely thinking about it. Made a wide turn around second base, and that's just great awareness right there. You know, while you're moving as fast as you possibly can, you also got to be moving your head a lot too. Figuring out where the ball is, to be exact, what your third base coach is saying to you. There's a lot that goes into it with base running.
Now, one out double for Buxton to work around. Baldwin at the plate, and there goes Simpson for third. The throw got him. Good throw by Jacob Cozart with enough mustard on it and on the money to gun down Simpson on his way to third, and there's two away in the top of the ninth.
His throws just keep getting better and better throughout the night. We saw one that was a little away. Mooney couldn't apply the tag, but after that, his throws have been on a line, and that was a great read. He knew Simpson was going, and Cozart was having none of it.
First pitch to Brooks Baldwin is outside for ball one. Baldwin today, 1 for 3. It's 1-1 rather. Drove in a run with a sac fly in the fifth. Swing and a miss on a breaking ball. 1-2 on Baldwin. And you're right, Trey. Cozart's throws, we saw some of them yesterday. They couldn't throw out the Harwich Mariners, who didn't run a lot, but when they did, the throws weren't all that close. 1-2. Swing and a miss. Buxton climbs upstairs for the inning-ending strikeout in the top of the ninth. Cotuit sat down with no further damage, and the last chance for the Commodores coming up in the bottom of the ninth, trailing 4-0.
Now, do your best cartwheel.
I'm not a gymnast. I think I'd pull something if I did a cartwheel.
Would you rather be able to fly or be invisible?
I'm going to go with fly, honestly. I think flying would be pretty cool. Be able to be up in the air, around everybody, you know, fly with some birds. Be pretty cool stuff, Carson.
Okay, Anders, now do your best and favorite dance move.
And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air.
Bottom of the ninth at Guv Fuller Field, with the Commodores trailing the Cotuit Kettleers 4-0. And the mission for Falmouth, if they choose to accept it, is to try to get at least 4 runs before they make 3 outs. And that challenge starts with the number 9 hitter, Cody Colden. 1 for 2 today and stepping in against Jackson Kelly. Submarining right-hander tasked with finishing this game off. In his 4th inning of work, he has allowed only 1 base runner and struck out 5 so far. The 0-1. floater high at 69 miles an hour, the slowest so far from Kelly, and it's 1-1. Commodores with only 3 hits today. Alex Mooney to lead off the game. Cody Colden back in the third as he skies one to deep left field. Kern going back to the wall and makes the catch. Out number 1 in the bottom of the 9th. A loud flyout off the bat of Colden.
Win or lose tonight, that would have been great to have seen a home run from the Commodores just to show some sort of life with the bats. But not showing it just yet. Only 3 hits tonight, but there's a positive here. You're going back to the top of the order with a guy who got the leadoff base hit. If you want to start something, you got to do it here.
Kelly staring him down and now fires a first pitch strike to Mooney. The only other hit today, Jacob Cozart last inning, that single down the right field line. Mooney today 1 for 3. A 1 pitch grounded to third. Collier can't make a sliding play. It gets by him. Mooney rounds first. He's heading for second. Kern's throw is a little bit off the mark, and Mooney slides into second with his second double of the summer.
How about Alex Mooney? Making a tough play on making a tough ball over to Collier on that left side, and Mooney showing off that leadoff hitting speed. Here we go. Now we have a new hitter coming up. Opportunity for the Doors to put a run on the board.
Simon Sherry pinch hitting for Eddie Saldivar. Saldivar's day is done. 0 for 3 performance. Sherry, a righty bat against the righty Kelly, with a man at second and Alex Mooney after the 1-out double. Kelly's first offering, and Sherry way late, swinging strike 1. Sherry making his first appearance of the summer. And Kelly's 0-1. Way high and outside, and it's 1-1. Again, Kelly digging down for that slow pitch, whatever you want to call it, whether that's a slider or a curve or whatever the 2 button is on the Wiimote tray. He's thrown it quite a bit. The 1-1. That one bends over the inside corner and buckled Sherry. It's 1-2.
There's just so much that goes into the submarine. You know, where the foot placement is, where you got to have the arm angle with it, how hard you're spinning the ball, especially when you're going with the Frisbee slider that Kelly has. There's a lot that goes into submarine pitching, and Kelly's showing a lot of it tonight.
The 1-2 is well outside, and Mooney still out there at second base. And throwing from an arm angle from, below the horizontal plane isn't automatically something that makes you an effective pitcher. You still have to have command. You still have to have good stuff. And Kelly isn't even the lowest guy who's ever played. I mean, for sure not. There are submariners who practically scrape their knuckles on the ground with how low they go.
Javier Lopez, Steve Cishek got down there, or Pat Cishek got down there here and there.
2-2. Swing and a miss by Sherry. Another strikeout victim for Kelly, and now the Commodores are down to their final out. Cross Factor, the center fielder, represents it with a man at second and 2 away.
Make or break here. Comes back to my point with Colden with that loud out. Just get a run across. Now that's if you want to bring some confidence in going up against the Harwich Mariners, a team that's going to score a lot of runs on you tomorrow, more likely than not because of the bats they have. Get something here.
Kelly's first offering to Factor is in for a strike, and even when he comes inside on left-handed hitters, you figure they have a little bit of a platoon advantage, but they're flinching as these strikes come in. Factor did not look all that comfortable with that first pitch, but you figure the 2 guys Cotuit has thrown tonight would have beaten just about every team on the Cape. 5 innings from Cohen, the final 4 from Kelly, at least at this point in the season. Don't know how long these guys are going to hold up this summer or what their seasons are going to look like in August, but at least so far, this looks like a team and a couple guys who are to be reckoned with.
Kettleers made the playoffs last year, looking to do so again. Been a successful ball club past few years. And you said it. Looking to be one of those yet again.
Factor 0 for 3 today. Flew out, grounded out, and popped out. 0-1 the count on him with Mooney at second base, and Kelly has redone the signs with Mickness a couple times now. 0-1. Overhand delivery, and Factor ropes that one foul right across the dugout netting. And a whole group of Commodores had to jump back. Caught by surprise. But now the Doors down to their final strike with Mooney at second base and Factor trying to keep the line moving. Kelly looking in, and the 0-2 to the plate. Fouled back. So even though Mooney is at second and has no real reason to steal, you couldn't fathom that he would, Kelly is paying attention to him, whether that be because he's disrupting the timing or that he doesn't want him relaying any sign information to Factor at the plate.
Game's not over just yet. Anything can happen here. Factor's just got to put it into play.
Factor fought the last pitch off. Now another 0-2 offering. Swing and a miss down in the dirt. Factor has to head to first. Mickness makes the throw, and the game is over. One final strikeout for the Commodore offense on a suffocating night delivered by the Cotuit pitching staff. 4-0 is your final score. Cotuit coming away with the victory and moving to 2-0. The Commodores fall to 0-2 with consecutive losses at home. And Trey, the defense better today for the Doors, but a lot else went wrong.
There are still some things to work on with this Commodore group. You know, one error tonight. The gloves were much better, and everything looks good for the Falmouth defense. But when you have a Falmouth offense that had a hit in the third and then the next one came in the bottom of the ninth, you're not going to win that many ball games. It's just like what we talked about last night. One extra base hit, much less hits this time around. Only 4 tonight and a goose egg in the runs category. A lot to figure out going up against the hardest hitting team in the Cape Cod Baseball League tomorrow night.
So Falmouth with their second matchup with the Harwich Mariners in 3 days tomorrow night at White House Field. The first road trip for the Commodores coming up in fewer than 24 hours. So we'll be there to commentate that game. Trey, you're going to be on the call with Logan Soforenko, who is our sideline guy tonight. A thank you to him for his contributions to this broadcast. But it's time for us to sign off. This has been Carter Bainbridge along with Trey Redfield, and we'll see you tomorrow night.